What a lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate Live. I'm your host, Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe, hit the bell notification icon and join button if you'd like to become a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member and keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you would like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they are live, and there's also a PayPal, Patreon, crypto and thanks button in the info box below the video. Most importantly, if you'd like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the nature of Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcome back on the next stream. Please also share the show on social media. Sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel, so please share the show on Facebook and X. Now we are joined by Eli, Arwin, Neil, and a whole bunch of people in Discord, so welcome one and all.
Hello, hello, good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon. We're going to start off with some housekeeping of sorts. So there's been lots of disdain amongst various different members of the public, hence me disclaiming this right at the beginning of a live stream in regards to various aspects of moderation of Flat Earth Debate, and indeed behaviour of both myself and some of the panel members, one of which is with us now. So Arwin and I are going to be having a conversation later today. Fun. But in the meantime, we'll be having... I've already contacted you about this, Arwin. No surprises here. Anyway.
But you didn't respond to any of that. I actually wrote something down.
Okay, in any event, Arwin, live show. So, I'm appealing to the moderators, as there's going to be a change in terms of how the moderation is done on Flat Earth Debate. So, last time I was appealing to people to not infight within the moderation team. Now, I don't know if that's ceased completely or not. I'm going to have to do a bit of digging to find this out, because I'm going to take this very seriously moving forward. In case you hadn't detected, there's a change of attitude in terms of how we're going to be presenting the Flat Earth information, especially here on Flat Earth Debate moving forward, with a hope that it will permeate through the rest of the community. However, there is some metaphorical housekeeping of our own that we need to do in terms of past behaviour, some of which I have tried to address in myself, some of which will have to be addressed in the attitude of the panel members. But the reason I'm doing this publicly now for Arwin preemptively is because there is something that I'm sure I will get a positive response from the audience, which is to say that Baldwin must die. In line with your claims in your own stream, Arwin, about death for your audience members, Baldwin needs to die. If we're going to move forward on the front foot, we can't have Baldwin anymore. The objectionable rumpus-like or rumpus-esque objections to illustrate by way of devil's advocate position that you claim to take, I'm sure many aspects of Baldwin are actually Arwin, we don't need that anymore. We're moving forward on the front foot, and we don't need a devil's advocate to put forth a position that we don't need to constantly readdress when we're walking away from a cult. So,
is this the farewell
Okay, well, in that
episode?
case, there's nothing more that I have to do here then, because that's like kind of my thing, you know? So I guess it's goodbye then, Nathan.
I mean, if that's how you want to be, but ultimately speaking, the toxicity that I've assessed from
No, that's not how I want to be. It's how it is. You literally just made the statement, so...
Yeah, well, this is the facts of the matter, Arwin. Number one, from a YouTube perspective, I can only take my audience into consideration when that is primarily what I'm here for. And as much as you and I have a friendship that is a long-lasting friendship, I can't ignore the disdain from people who are being hurt by your actions. So I have to address them.
It's not you, it's me, Arwin.
Well, I mean, no, it's not. It's Arwin.
Yeah,
But
so it's a goodbye then, eh?
this isn't a goodbye. It's a request to kill off a character called Baldwin who creates poison and toxicity within the show. And in light of us wanting to move forward on the front foot, there are things that will have to be cut off in order to do that. Now, I'm not suggesting that I cut you off. I've been very supportive of you. However, I'm not going to lie, there's been endless complaints about you. Like daily, multiple daily complaints about you, your behavior.
So do I. Yeah, it's called spamming troll assholes. I literally get 10 spam mails a day about everything that I do wrong, Nathan. Yeah, do you think that has to
Neil
do
off the island.
quality? Really?
Someone's trying to get a word in.
I vote Neil off the island first.
It was in the middle of a sentence. You don't have to get a response in the middle of my sentence when I'm not done yet, Nathan.
Go ahead, Darwin.
It's called trolls. They hate me. They're trying to create a rift between us for years, and they're finding new tactics to do it. And they're playing right into you right now, and you're giving in.
Maybe. I mean, occasionally trolls will get the better of me. I've had to recently go into Rachy50's comments and offer an apology and ask for forgiveness with regards to me being quite literally triggered by her lies about things I haven't said. Very annoying. Well, as an overreaction, whoever keeps interrupting, just say, do you want to get something in? Who is that keeps jumping over me and Arwen? Come on, who was that? No one wants to admit to it now.
It's Gene.
No, I ain't said nothing. I'm on mute.
No, you then just be quiet, Gene.
Look, right, this is what we do here on Flat Earth Debate. It's not typically the case that I'll do this on a live stream. Sometimes it does have such significant importance that I do want to address it on a live stream. For whatever reason, Arwen, those trolls have got the better of you. Now, I will admit that trolls, in this case Rachy50's, who's become a lying glurf, did get the better of me to the point where I had to go back to her and apologise and say, please forgive me, there was no need to bring your offspring into this discussion. Excuse me. And there wasn't. Yeah, she got the better of me. She triggered me. She was successful. Just by making up stuff I hadn't said, really pissed me off to the point where I wanted to give her both barrels. Yeah, that's my fault. I have to take ownership of that. Does it make me cringe when I see my own words? But yeah, it does, yeah. Am I preaching what I do? No, I'm not, no. I'm a hypocrite. I have to admit to these things, take it on the cheek, take it on the chin, whatever you want to call it, and move on. With, obviously, an apology to Rachy, which I've offered her. Now, some people have tried to, I just want to bring this to it, falsely, a couple of the complaints have tried to draw a parallel between my behaviour and claim it's on the basis of influence from Arwen. How dare they? I am me, Arwen is Arwen. We may be friends. It doesn't mean that what Arwen's doing on his channel, which is, by the sounds of things, suffering a nervous breakdown when I've gone and had a look today, Arwen. I mean, what's going on?
What do you mean you've gone out and take a look today? What are you talking about?
You said you wanted
show was great
put a pin in things. I was trying to follow up.
Go ahead, Eli, unless Arwen wants to respond.
Yeah, what are you talking about? My show was great today.
I've gone back through a few shows, is what I'm saying, Arwen. And
another show where I wasn't feeling right. Wow.
Okay.
Yeah, that happens sometimes. You know that. It's happening for years. I can't stop that from happening.
Wait, well, you seem to be getting the best of by these people. I can't phrasing it any other way, Arwen.
Yeah, when I feel like shit, yeah, that's right. They get the best of me. And then I restore myself, and then I move on and have great shows for months and months on end.
Okay, your attitude towards this, because I want to move on. I want to move on the front forward, and while we will deal with this at length, Arwen, because number one, out of concern for you, I know from the reaction people are getting and inferring that I'm being influenced by your poor behaviour when they've got an example of my poor behaviour, which isn't the case. But I'm saying your behaviour has become so bad that people literally want to claim that it's leaking into me. Now, I'm responsible for my own bad behaviour. That's the first thing. I want to get that out of the way. There is no link between Arwen's crappy behaviour and my crappy behaviour. And my crappy behaviour, while I'm not trying to justify it by saying has been a lot worse, it has, and I'm trying to clean shop. That's what this is now. Hence, I put it right at the top of the show. Now, coincidentally, I had intended to talk to Arwen this morning. I just ended up taking one of my kids to a home education class over miles and miles away, which took an hour there, an hour back, and I ran out of time before having a chance to speak to him beforehand. Although I did make sure as soon as I was ready to do this with him, I sent him a message, which he has had. I haven't had a chance to see your replies. I'm sorry, Arwen. But this is keeping house clean. We're going to move forward with a squeaky clean impression of we want to move forward on the front foot. Then we've got a clean house in our wake, unfortunately. This is that. Now, what is the front foot? Let's get that through to the audience, because if I'm dealing with house first, rather than what is the primary moving forward, well, let's move forward with that. Earth is measured flat. I've just been listening to Witsit do a debate a day ago where his opener to say the end of this conversation is held within the juxtaposition between bloody ether and Einsteinian/Newtonian forces of gravity? That's the end of the debate if you bring up that crazy crackpot argument? No, it bloody isn't. What's the end of the debate? Earth is measured flat. Now, Whitsit's last encounter here was Whitsit having it put to him that the horizon is absolutely unequivocally used to measure Earth flat. Now, he argued against that point, feeling it wasn't quite good enough, with his lack of comprehension, describing extending planes to the horizon, as opposed to measuring Earth flat with it. Now, moving forward, we know Earth is measured flat, and that is the end of the discussion, because Earth is measured flat to claim Earth is a sphere. If, although I'm suggesting you don't do this, you have to juxtapose it with our opponent's religious belief you have walked away from. We don't need to. You don't need to hold up gravity juxtapositions or flat Earth anti-non-curve juxtapositions. Just say it's flat. Just prove it's measured flat. Just tell them it's measured flat, because it is. That's our opener. That's how I want to move forward. And if we've got people who are still pointing out that they have a certain level of disdain from me or the panel, I want to hear it. And I hope those of you who have got in touch with me and said, very graciously, I've had to thank everybody who's done this. I don't like the way this is being done, or this behaviour from you or ex-panel member. In each and every instance, I first and foremost thank them, because most people don't do that. They just walk away and won't tell you why. If you know why, you might have a chance of actually doing something about it, but that takes a lot of effort on the part of the person that just wants to walk away. Now, I don't want audience members, especially when I've got my YouTube hat on, I don't want audience members to be walking away. I want to grow this audience because the message we have is important, and it goes way beyond our personal differences. And if they're getting in the way of that message, we need to deal with that immediately. Right? Now, I was going to just open up with what I'm going to do in terms of the mods, but this has immediately branched out into something bigger than that with Arwin. Fine. It does need to be dealt with. But in terms of the moderation of Flat Earth debate, we can't have people with spanners debating. It is just that simple. If you're going to have a spanner, you can't be in a position where you can argue the toss with someone else who's in the chat. Now, that isn't to say that you can't make good points if you have got a spanner, but if you're going to get into the wrangle-dangle back and forth for 25 straight minutes with a Glober, only to then time them out and remove all their comments because they can't stop rinsing and repeating for the sake of argument, right? Then you need to be a debater/moderator, which is to say certain functionality of your mod status will be removed. That is to say that the ability to time out will be removed, but your ability to share links and certain channel admin functions will retain. So therefore, the people who do want to get into the wrangle-dangle back and forth can do that, but the people who don't actually chat that much, but can do a good job of moderating, then they can moderate.
So,
go ahead.
So to make it clear, because I kind of, being in these conversations so long, I don't want to put words in anybody's mouth, but I kind of feel like the argument would become, well, no, actually, someone, which was me, was it Friday or Thursday when we had the show when we were in Earth Awakenings, somebody asked, well, what is the contention with the argument about elevation angles, or was it about the horizon being whatever it was? The bottom line is, whatever rebuttal anyone anywhere has to say critiquing Nathan or anything else, remember that his main point is we just want to lead on the foot of it's measured flat. That's all we want to do. If other people, and we would criticize people who would want to do otherwise, because just give us a good argument as to why you should be talking about anything else from jump. That's it.
Yeah, it is that simple. Good summary.
Secondly, just lastly, the thing about losing it to these people and getting out of going into bad energy. The thing about that is we could actually capitalize off of that, because instead of letting it be a waste and letting them spin our behavior to continue with their lies and distractions, we should just be doing what we've been doing for the last 6-7 months with these videos. Like someone, claims that our position is X, and instead of getting all triggered, we just go, isn't that funny that they said that this is my position, but here's my position right here? And then you play whatever video they were critiquing, and you just expose them for being liars, and you move on. You don't really have to do much but get a nice soundbite from someone who's lying.
This is real progress. I love it, Eli. The other thing is, Eli, a couple of people, they're not critiquing you directly in this, but their suggestion is in some of the back office Skype chat rooms and such like. I'm not going to include Discord in that because I'm not a big participant. I'm just going to be honest. But they're being asked for various different bits of input, and they're not seeing input from us in the back offices. And some of the critique was to say, if you want us to give input, if you're going to lead us, you've got to also sort of start the ball rolling and come up with suggestions. So with that in mind, because that was something that was recently discussed with somebody critiquing the show, I actually feel the reason these critiques are coming, the reason people are moaning, is because there's been a positive resurgence for flat earth debate. Now that might sound weird. Hold on. Why are people moaning if you're saying that there's been a positive resurgence? For the reasons I gave earlier, if people just want to walk away, they'll just walk away. Whereas people aren't doing that. They're going, I want to walk away, but for the fact that you do this, I probably would walk away. And I am going to. And I've gone, okay. So if I corrected that, you'd be happy. Yeah, okay. I'll endeavour to correct it. I might not win, but you'll see that I am proactively, number one, listening, and number two, taking what you say seriously, and number three, actively doing something about it. I can't promise results. I'm not God, right? But by the same token, I can endeavour to change things. Now, if they're crap from the past that needs tidying up, no worries, I can do that. Especially when I see that there's a primary concern that we can move forward with. And Eli summarised that in his first point perfectly as well. This isn't that complicated. My wife, after listening to a few shows over the last week, has gone, basically, what this boils down to is you telling flat earthers to tell people Earth's flat then. I'm like, yeah, basically, it isn't really that complicated. Now, you might think, well, isn't that what we're all doing anyway? No, we're not. In the case of what we were listening to in the pre-show, I don't know if we'll go through this on the live show. This is too good a discussion to interrupt with a video critique of Witsit when he's just literally given me some allegiance, admittedly with some pushback, which I've just published, and also highlighted how he'd had a change of heart halfway through, saying, you can't just look at the horizon and no Earth's flat, end quote, Witsit, to, so Witsit from me. Next time you look at the horizon, you'll say we're measuring Earth flat with it. And Witsit, yeah, it's a good argument, this, yeah. Yeah, good. So we've educated Witsit that the horizon is used to measure Earth flat, and he understands that. But the whole point of me getting him to understand it wasn't to have the debate about whether or not the horizon factually is being used by both parties to establish a horizontal plane of reference. It is. That's a fact. What I wanted to get across to Witsit is we don't start the debate as is done literally yesterday on Modern Day Debate by saying, let's juxtapose Einsteinian / pseudo-Riemannian gravity / Newton / Cavendish gravity with your ether. Because that'll end the argument. That's literally what he started this discussion with. I will juxtapose my gravity with their gravity because that's going to end this debate. No, it won't. Measuring Earth flat ends the debate. There is no ifs, buts, or maybes about that. It's a fact that we measure it flat, and a fact that measuring it flat ends the argument. That should be our opener. That was my point. It didn't obviously sink in when he came here, because all he wanted to do was argue about whether or not the horizon proves Earth's flat, which it does.
So let's talk tactics. So, okay, like obviously our position is to move forward with the opener that it's measured flat. Let's say someone tries to reposition and get us to talk about, for example, gravity. Now, if anyone's heard QE's live over the weekend and you listen just to his opener in that video, the people who are the proponents of gravity are actually contradicting themselves. So instead of me fighting you, I can just show people you contradicting yourself and move on with my premise that the Earth is measured flat.
Okay, yes. Number one, let's just agree with you, but you've just put this on the opposite end of the extreme. So my train of thought for doing this, moving forward on the front foot, saying Earth's flat as an opener, is because of my journey through this subject. What has my journey consisted of? Learning more and more and more about how the sphere Earth doesn't work. So, by comparison, I'm a Scientologist who's left the Scientology cult, been excommunicated, and then the way forward is to learn more about Scientology so that I can debate with people in the cult who are still in there who definitely don't want to relinquish their faith in Scientology. But if I was to come up against them, I'd definitely be needing a good knowledge of Scientology to do so. Okay, now with that in mind, that is to say that you aren't necessarily the kind of person that comes to a discussion like this and wants to go into debate about it. Likewise, when I've gone and listened to debates about feminism, I am not going to enter into a debate about feminism because I'll probably not do very well, nor do I have any stakes in it or care, beyond a knowledge that I am not going to try and portray here when comparing it to a flat Earth. What I do know when it comes to arguing about flat Earth, based on a different path that I did not take, that someone current comes to this discussion and finds themselves confronted with, is the discussion about Earth being measured flat, first and foremost. Now, don't get me wrong, when I first got here and realised Earth's flat and started to believe in the concepts of flat Earth based on how heliocentrism didn't work, I was never armed with a silver bullet of how Earth's measured flat. Now, we've got that silver bullet. I don't need necessarily, unless I want to debate it, as in the example that was just given, to know all about heliocentrism. I don't need that. But it's far more effective for me going forward if I know Earth's measured flat immediately when I get to this subject. What's all this flat Earth stuff about? Let's have a look. Well, these are all anti-flat Earth videos, says nobody who's non-appreciative of the propaganda they get forced on when they search this subject. But let's say they eventually, 200 pages down, find me. And they open up the page, and the first thing that we're talking about is how Earth is measured flat. And instances of how it's measured flat. And then a fundy comes in and says, yeah, but it's only because it's so big. And we go, what? So it's so big you measure it flat. So we measure it flat. Yeah? Now, don't get me wrong. Most people who come away from that discussion won't be armed to the teeth with globe debunking should a fundy on the globe. And Witz's argument, well, that's everybody. No, it isn't. Some people don't give a toss until it comes up, and then they start looking into it. Cursory glance at the subject. Well, if they have that, they need to come here and find out Earth's flat if they come here.
Am I crazy for saying that actually Eric DeBay was on the right track? Because he got everyone questioning the globe by showing people aspects of reality we've never thought about. Which is basically what we're doing, except without all of the there's an ice ring and there's this and that and the third. We're just like, oh, look at how all of these mariners use sextants and elevation angles and things like that. And it begins an argument from the opposition where they want to pull us back into their rhetoric and argue from within it when we're just exposing how things actually are. I think Eric DeBay was kind of trying to, I think that's where he was at, because he came into the land of the earth is flat. Most people today come into the land of here's why it's not flat.
I don't know. Eric DeBay's a bit of an enigma to me. I've come full circle with him in terms of my attitude, but he's part of the path that I'm trying to repave, if you will. Now, that's not, it's not to say I want to criticize anything that's been done in the past. The path is what it is, and it is the past. Now, in our immediate future, us as a group may have some collective housekeeping to do amongst ourselves in terms of our attitudes, our opinions, our behaviour. But the message moving forward is the change, isn't it? How Earth is not a sphere is how you must approach this 10 years ago. How we did approach this 10 years ago, because we're all stuck in a paradigm 10 years ago. So to have your cognition shifted in a way that lets you open yourself up to new questions of paradigms is what we got to find ourselves here. And where is here? Knowing Earth's measured flat. Now I'm saying that I just think it would be more effective if the positive, or if you're a glober, contrapositive to your assertion that Earth's a sphere, started off with pointing out it's measured flat. That's pretty effective. Is there anything else we wanted to cover other than when did NASA turn gay and transgender? Because that might end up getting me a copyright strike or something. Community guidelines.
And Muslim.
Mr. Cheswick, who's right on the edge of controversy and often over it. So no offense, Mr. Cheswick. I'm going to share your video because I like you and I hope you do well in this subject. And you often have me chuckling in spite of some of the things you do being a little bit vulgar. But there we go. You amuse me greatly and I'm going to share your video, but I'm not going to play it. Because I just don't want to risk it. But there's a link going by to Mr. Cheswick's video, When Did NASA Turn Gay and Transgender? I didn't know that they had. I don't suggest that they are, but I'm sure the video is very funny. Thank you, Mr. Cheswick. And thank you, Divergent Droid, for sharing it. Is there anything else that we'd rather cover? No offence to Witsit, right? I don't necessarily want to get on his coattails. And I said this in the pre-show. It's been a couple of... Go on, whoever. Go on, someone's opened their mic. Just go with it. Someone in G+, you know who you are. Well, I'll try that again. I don't want to get on his coattails. I'm not going to be unreasonable and say, look, Witsit, 3 days ago I told you we need to lead with flat Earth on the front foot and tell him its measurement. Short of giving the guy a script and expecting him to adhere to it, I can't expect him to immediately alter his entire attitude towards debating this subject. However, what I can do is listen to what he's done subsequent to our conversation and say, right, the reason for contention between me and Witsit in what turned out to be a debate about the horizon wasn't my aim. My aim was to say the juxtaposition between globe Earth and flat Earth isn't necessary 10 years into the subject when we know it's measured flat. Ergo, our leading position should be taken as follows. Earth is measured flat. That's your opener. Because if people hear that from a flat earther, it's very, very powerful. Now, what Witsit did in this discussion, and I've discussed it in the pre-show, you can go back and listen if you're a member, or it'll come out in a few days on my second channel if you're not a member. But the critique is just, as I've just described, all I'm trying to get across to him isn't any particular debating points about ether or the horizon or anything else that we could argue all day about as flat earthers. And that's wonderful, because then internal discussion about flat earth, that's the best kind of discussion there is. You know, keeping us all sharp rather than arguing about the bloody globe all day, 10 years after we've walked away from it. But that critique can only be made more pertinent to Witsit if he hears me saying, I don't want to argue with you, Witsit. I don't want to have a disagreement because we're both alphas. Who cares? When the argument is far more strong than both of our personalities. Our personalities lead us to argue. Fine. That's just how we will accept it. I have nothing against Witsit personally, and I'm sure the same is true in response, which is to say, if I was to meet Witsit tomorrow, we'd be shaking hands and hugging and having a beer together, undoubtedly. My point being that doesn't stop the fact that over the bar we'd end up having a row about ether and then doing the same thing the following night, if you know what I mean. My point being there's no love loss between us. Great, that's how it should be. And a few people have mistook that for us, quote-unquote, working together when I had to educate Witsit about the horizon being used to measure Earth flat, which he disagreed with. Fine, it doesn't matter. It doesn't make him lesser of a man or less of a good debater or anything like that. But it isn't my point. You know, I don't want to win an argument about the horizon proving Earth flat. I know already it is used to measure Earth flat. So I don't, you know, one-upping Witsit on him and his knowledge isn't relevant. leading with Earth being measured flat, when its current description is they, being the globe heads, treat Earth as flat, but then they go on to just say it's a sphere. Well, no, they don't treat Earth as flat. We don't need to mention they. We measure Earth flat.
What do you want?
Who's off mute? Go ahead, whoever it is. Eli, go ahead. Or is it Bev? One of you wants to get something. You're both off mute. Which one is it?
It's not me. I'm on mute at this end.
I think it's Eli. I think he's hot micing. Eli, can you hear us?
Sorry? Oh, I'm off mute.
Yeah, you are, yeah. Hello, Bev, by the way. I only noticed you because I'm looking up to see who's interrupting me. Hello.
I think it's interesting, but I don't want to interrupt your.
I'm done. You're not.
Are you?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well then, I've been discussing this thing with people. Obviously, at first I thought you coming up with the hashtag Earth is measured flat was ridiculous, but then after a bit of thinking about it, I think it's genius.
And
well, have you ever heard of a modus ponens?
And it's Christmas again. That's what.
Modus ponens.
What's up, man?
If A, then B, A, therefore B. Yeah. What about it?
No, a modus ponens is a way to. Somebody told me it's a way to validate affirming the consequent.
Affirming the consequence of fallacy.
Yeah, I know, but a modus ponens is a way to validate it. I was told this morning, right? Now, this is the way I think that you're measuring the Earth flat is genius. Because you just mean a straight line, right?
I just want to know what fallacy. You said modus ponens, did you say?
Yeah.
He means modus ponens.
I know he means modus ponens.
No, I don't.
By the way, I was listening to you today.
I do not.
He means something else.
I do not mean a modus ponens.
Hello? Don't disagree with him if you don't know that what he said. I heard what he said. It wasn't modus ponens. That's not what he said. But that doesn't mean that he's wrong. He might be talking about something else. If I'm ignorant of this fallacy, then we may get educated by Bev here. Let's have some humility. I didn't mishear him, and I don't think you did mean modus ponens, which I defined, and you said wrong. Now I'm listening to you, Bev. Yeah. Go ahead.
Hold on a second. Okay. I was listening to him this morning. Hold on. I was listening to him this morning on 24/7. Now give him an opening.
Just did. You stopped it. Go ahead, Bev.
Sorry.
Okay. A modus ponens. There was a video done by a guy called Bob the Science Guy. Called Flat Earth Logic, right? I think it's pretty hard to find right now, but some people might still have it, right? And there's some clips of it. I can give you them. Can you see in the main text chat on Discord?
No, sorry.
Or can you get somebody to send you that through to wherever you can actually see it?
Sure. I'm sure someone will.
Because I've got some clips that you will help make this a little bit clearer, right? So first off, you need a false dichotomy. So let's put that out of the way, right? We've got a false dichotomy. Then you get Bob, the science guy, to make this modus ponens, right? Now, the modus ponens, as stated in the it's in the main text chat. So hopefully somebody can get to see it. But I mean, I'll read it out, and then I'll get you the clip of Bob showing it, right? So it says, if and only if the Earth is a sphere, P, then the shortest distance between any 2 points in any direction will be a great circle distance, Q. And then he says, the shortest distance between any 2 points on the Earth is a great circle distance, obviously, affirming Q. So this is an argument that Bob the Science Guy uses quite a lot, and he names it. It's a modus ponens.
No, it's not. It's
an example of a modus.
That's an affirming the consequence.
No, but it's a fallacy. That's because you're thinking it's a modus ponens, but it isn't. This is a modus ponens that Bob's made. And like somebody said to me today...
No worries. What's the logical form of modus ponens?
Affirming Q.
Affirming the consequent. Do you want to just give me the logical form?
Yeah, it's affirming Q.
So what's the logical form in full?
Like you say, you can see it. It's the argument. That's exactly the argument that Bob made.
Lay it out in the logical form, then?
Well, you can't do that because then you'll hear a modus ponens. But this isn't a modus ponens.
Bev, I'll just give you one last chance. Third time's a charm. You say this is a fallacy called modus ponens. Okay, please lay out the logical consistency of modus ponens, please. Third time's a charm.
Yeah, but you get Bob to do it.
Why, you're here?
It's Bob's argument.
Excuse me, is your name Bob? Sorry, is your name Bob? Is your name Bob?
This is Bob.
You're the one who's
Science Guy's argument.
Oh, it's my bad. Bevs failed and he's asked to make this example with a logical consistency, and now he's blaming Bob.
No.
Excuse me, I'm in the middle of taking apart your nonsense, Bev. Do you mind shutting up?
Yeah, but if you let me finish...
You can't.
Nathan.
I have let you finish. I asked you to provide the form, and you didn't.
Because that's not the finish of the argument, is it?
I can't follow the argument unless I know the form.
Oh. Well, Bob says
I don't care what Bob said. I'm talking to you. Stop talking to Bob. Bob's not here. This is outrageous. I've got to mute you unless you stop talking about Bob. He's not here. You are. You need to take ownership, you coward. You made this scrappy argument, and you can't even give me the logical form for it, can you, Bev?
It can be falsified with...
Don't tell me what can be falsified. I'm going to have to mute you unless you acknowledge that you're here making this, not Bob. And when I asked what's the form of your logic you claim, you don't know, and blame Bob for it, you coward. Take ownership of your failure.
Wow. Is this you
so
going
you
forward,
don't
Nathan?
know the logical consistency of this argument you, not Bob, are putting to me then? You just don't know your own logical form you're claiming proves something, you complete bonehead. No, you don't. That was rhetorical, Bev. Don't you know when something's been pointed out to you rhetorically? You still need to babble through me? You don't know that your own form hasn't even been presented, but you think you're going to go on with the example? Now, I'll need to follow the logical consistency that you haven't given me yet, you stupid idiot. Anything else, Bev?
With the
any other non-complete, non-logically presented...
A straight line. You could measure a straight line as being the shortest distance. Can you give me the logical
form for this, please? Can you give me the logical form so I can follow it, like if A, then B, not A, then not B, or something along those lines? Do you want to give me that?
Yeah. If you look in the main text chat, I don't know if anybody can help you, it's actually...
No, you already knew I couldn't. So can you give it me? We're talking, we're having a conversation. Can you just tell me, verbally, when I've asked 5 times, this is the 5th time, to give me the logical form? In its logical form.
Polens.
You can't, Bev. You don't need to keep wittering. Bev. There's 113 people who know, after the 6th attempt of asking for a logical consistency that you haven't offered in its logical form because you don't know it, that you have failed miserably. Do you want to just give up now, Bev? Or have some humility, be a man, and admit you don't know this logical form and can't present it as an argument with logical consistency because you don't know the logical form? 6 times. What a complete coward. Take some ownership of your failure, Bev. Be a man.
It's in the in the main text chat.
Oh, brilliant.
Nathan.
Read it out. Brilliant. Read out the logical form part of it for me.
Bob the Science Guy's modus ponens. If and only if the Earth is a sphere, P, then the shortest distance between any 2 points in any direction will be a great circle distance. Modus ponens. Confirm Q, affirming P.
That's
the shortest distance between any 2 points on Earth is a great circle, affirming Q.
Yeah.
Therefore, Earth is a sphere affirming P. Bob goes over it.
I heard you the first time.
He also then says he challenges flat earthers, Nathan.
Thank you, Bev.
To give a modus tollens for that.
Thank you, Bev. Thank you. Yeah, I heard the first time. When you said it the first time, I said that's an affirming. You're done, Bev. You blabber your way through the response a few times. Go on, get it all out, son.
He then offers flat earthers a chance to do a modus tollens to his modus polens.
Polens?
By measuring a shortest distance between any 2 points as being a straight line.
Right. If
you can then
falsify. Oh, is he still
You can then falsify Bob's argument by measuring the Earth flat, i.e. a straight line.
Are you done now? Is there any more?
Yeah.
You are done, or there is more?
Do you want to hear Bob saying his argument that you can rebut?
Yeah, I can. I did. I'll do it again, hopefully without interruption. It's not a modus polens. It's an affirming the consequent formal logical fallacy.
Yeah, which is what I got told this morning. The modus polens, because Bob says it, is a way of validating and affirming the consequent.
No, you don't validate a fallacy. It's a fallacy. You're obviously very stupid.
That, yeah.
I haven't finished talking, Bev. I asked if you were done, then I waited for a pause. Now I'm talking. You don't need to interrupt. Thank you. No, you're just very stupid, Bev. What someone has told you is that you can affirm the consequent and then validate that fallacy. That's what you've just told us. That is utterly absurd, totally ludicrous, and incorrect.
No, I'm telling you.
And I'm still in the middle of telling you how stupid you are, Bev. You don't have to interrupt me just because you're not a man. Can accept that the logical form you offered is a logical inconsistency, aka fallacy. It doesn't have logical form. It's a logical fallacy. The same fallacy I've pointed out to you twice, and all you've got to do is what? Chant through me?
Yes.
That's going to somehow
Bob offers up a fallacy, but then he tells you how...
Yeah, it's a fallacy. He offers up a fallacy. Yeah, I'm done. I've heard this, Bev. You don't need to chant through me that he's offered up a fallacy. He did offer up a fallacy. He's renamed it modus polens, and you've swallowed that you can affirm the consequent and then validate that which you have offered up with fallacy.
You could offer up a modus tollens.
It's not. It's an affirming the consequent formal logical fallacy. It's not a modus polens, something that's been invented by a bonehead and you've fallen victim to. And then when asked to present the actual logical form, you couldn't. You presented his argument 3 times, which I've pointed out now for the 3rd time is an affirming the consequent and not some made-up logical consistency that validates an illogical argument. It doesn't work like that, Bev. You just don't understand logic.
I think what Bev's talking about is the affirming the consequent when it fails, it becomes a modus tollens.
No, you can offer him a modus tollens by saying, but the shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line. Look, here, I'm measuring it. It's a meter. That's a straight line, Bob.
This is fascinating stuff, you know. Meanwhile, I mean, I know you started this off by complimenting my positioning with regards to moving forward on the front foot. We do actually measure Earth flat, though, Bev. So none of this is really consequential. You're affirming the consequent offered up with a claim that it's a different type of logical consistency. Doesn't alter the fact that Earth is in reality measured flat. By you, by me, by everybody. That's how Earth is actually dealt with. And Bev, you're going to have to try and contain yourself while I'm talking. I don't think you appreciate that while I'm talking there's a gate in place and you don't get to rumpus through me while I'm in the middle of my sentence. You have to wait for a gap, otherwise the gate won't open. You're just causing nobody in Discord to hear what I'm saying. But thank you. The interruptions would be pleased if you didn't do them constantly. This is your opportunity to talk, Bev.
Okay, well, I've been talking to the guys over at 24/7 on the politics channel this morning for a few hours. And none of the flat earthers seem to want to take this on either.
I don't care.
The shortest distance between 2 points being a straight line.
Sorry, it's an affirming the consequent fallacy. The argument's void. Do you think that by ignoring my 5 renditions of this being an affirming the consequent fallacy, that somehow we need to answer the fallacy? No. If begging the question fallacy, then non sequitur. Non sequitur, therefore begging the question fallacy. No. Do you not understand this?
No, you can
go away. I'm still
you don't know
talking,
what a modus
Bev. I'm
tollens
still
is?
talking, Bev. Yeah? Middle of my sentence, yeah, you're not going to be interrupting it. No, Bev, you need to go away and learn how fallacies work because you're just clearly ignorant of them. You've fallen victim to one. You've just been told that a fallacy works, therefore we need to answer the fallacy. And you're here to what? Peddle that I need to answer is, if begging the question sphere, then straight line, non sequitur, straight line, therefore sphere. No, I don't have to do that, my friend. I just point out it's a fallacy. It makes the argument void because it's a fallacy. I'm not going to rename it because I'm a Dumbo.
It's a false dichotomy modus tollens that's needed. And
needed for what? Proving Earth's flat? No, we just need a measurement to prove Earth's flat. Whoever's off mute in G plus Eli again, please go on mute. You're ruining my audio. Eli, mute, please. No, we just need to prove Earth's measured flat, and we can. Everybody does. That's how Earth's measured. All the maps and models and grid systems that we use to navigate it, they're all measured flat. The systems that are in place to navigate it are flat. It's measured flat. That's what I'd go with. None of this boring non sequitur about fallacies.
You don't want a false dichotomy modus.
Or constant interruptions from Bev whenever he gets triggered about how stupid he is. You know, those constant interruptions will still come from Bev. You may speak.
No, I'm just trying to sell a false dichotomy modus tollens.
Fascinating. I'm just trying to sell the fact we measure it flat because it's a fact.
Yeah, I'm trying to sell it to you as a way for you to validate your measuring it flat. Just measuring it straight.
You don't need to measure. You don't need to validate a measurement. It's a measurement. I don't measure something 3 inches long and then say, how am I going to validate this measurement? I measured it. It's 3 inches. I measured it. Well, how are you going to validate that measurement? I don't need to. It's a measurement of Earth flat. End of argument.
No, you have to
do it
as straight line.
Yes, flat, straight, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Bob says it's a great circle distance. You just have to.
That's right. With a fallacy that we've gone through 6 times. Yeah, we know he does. You told us 6 times. Anything else, Bev, or is it just this thing 7 more times?
Yeah,
this is going to come 7 more times, isn't it, Bev? This is going to come a lot more times, even though I've pointed out it's a fallacy. Yeah? Go away and learn fallacies. Anything else? Just talking while I'm talking.
Is Bev implying that rise over run is fallacious?
That's how Cheryl perceives him, and based on those.
Maybe ask him.
A vertical distance measurement and a horizontal distance measurement, both being straight line. Shortest distance between those 2 points would be a straight line, right?
Excellent. So you know we prove Earth flat too, then. Excellent.
Yeah, I've been telling Bob it's a modus tollens.
I don't know why you keep going on about Bob. Bob's not here. We're not talking to Bob. We're talking to you. We're talking about rise over run. We're talking about horizontal. We're talking about Earth. We're talking about measuring Earth. We're talking about Earth being measured flat. And while I say that we're talking about Earth measured flat, I notice your line open and a little interruption there, Bev. Is this painful? Do you need to talk about fallacies 8 more times because this is so painful that you need to interrupt me non-stop while I point out Earth is factually measured flat? That's how Earth is dealt with. You may speak.
This works for vertical measurements too, this one.
Vertical and horizontal, like we measured the Earth, right?
Straight lines, yeah.
Yeah, because Earth's measured flat.
Between 2 points.
Cool. Yeah, we know Earth's measured flat, Bev. We know already. Thanks.
Now you know.
Now you know. It's flat. Yeah. Earth's flat.
Only with the false dichotomy modus tollens.
No, not with an affirming the consequent, Bev. No, with a measurement, Bev. Measurement.
Yeah, but a vertical measurement.
No, a horizontal measurement of the horizontal plane that we reference when we navigate it. That's a horizontal plane of reference. I don't know why you're talking about vertical when we're talking about how Earth is flat and how we measure it flat. But maybe the interruptions to me pointing out that you taking us to the vertical, what with respect to the horizontal, that's also horizontal. That's how we measure Earth. We're not needing to validate that measurement because it's a measurement. We're measuring it flat. Earth, that is, measured flat, as you well know. Don't you, Bev? You also appreciate how Earth's measured flat, but you like to tell people that that measurement's actually a false dichotomy offered by Bob? I'm afraid not, Bev. This is a very, very weak position you're taking.
It's measured on the vertical datum, Nathan.
What, the flat Earth that we're travelling up to when we walk across the ground is measured on a vertical datum with respect to a horizontal plane of reference? Yeah, we know. It is that horizontal plane of reference which we are walking on. That would be the flat Earth that we dwell atop.
Does he think run is measured on the vertical datum? Do you think run?
No, rise. Rise is measured on the vertical datum.
Bev only likes to have a conversation when he's talking through the middle of your claim. He doesn't like to hear the claim. I mean, he thinks that we need to hear the fallacy 6 times and he can ignore and talk through the rebuttal like he's doing now. He thinks that that's a successful debating tactic, to just talk through anything that's put to him and then repeat that which he's talked through because he hasn't listened to any responses 5 times. So while you're putting him the fact that it's rise over run, he's going to just concentrate on the rise bit because Earth's measured flat with the run bit. Right, Bev?
Earth is measured on the vertical datum. I've done it myself. Elevation changes.
With respect to a horizontal plane of reference?
With respect to a mean established on the vertical datum.
Horizontal plane of reference, that would be, right?
No, it's just a vertical datum. It's a point on a vertical datum, Nathan.
So sea level.
A mean.
So sea level, not a horizontal plane of reference, according to you.
It goes up and down on the...
He doesn't seem to be saying no.
On the vertical...
I know, if we just ignore the horizontal plane of reference completely, we can only focus on that which is with respect to the horizontal plane of reference, and that's the vertical. Yeah, we know. But the two are intrinsically linked, Bev. No response? Yeah, the two are intrinsically linked. The horizontal and the vertical, and that's how we're measuring Earth.
Yeah, you measure elevation changes on the vertical datum.
With respect to what?
That makes it not flat, Nathan.
Not flat with respect to what?
With respect to something that is flat.
And what's that? So you can say how flat Earth isn't because you can reference how flat the horizontal plane of reference is. So with respect, my bad, in the middle of my rebuttal, Bev needs to go through the same claim again so he doesn't hear the rebuttal. Does this tactic work on your own show, in your own echo chamber there, Bev? Where someone puts a rebuttal to you and you just repeat the claim straight through the top of the rebuttal. Earth's measured flat, Bev. That horizontal plane of reference. Now, you can describe all day how you've got datum, right? But on the horizontal, that's the Earth we're actually talking about. Now, you're going to only refer to the heights with respect to that horizontal. So the average horizontal at 0 is how you'll describe how much it deviates from that plane of reference at 0. How high or low the Earth is compared to an overall average at 0. So overall average at 0 is how high or low Earth is measured with respect to how flat it is overall at 0. 0's the same everywhere. No response. Yep, that's right. 0's everywhere because Earth's flat everywhere. And we can reference how high or low various bits of Earth are with respect to that 0 point. That you're going to reference everywhere. What's that you say? It's a mean average taken from the sea level? Yeah, a mean average of how flat it is everywhere. All over Earth when we measure Earth flat. That's right.
No, it's just a mean of where the tide goes up and down.
What's that called?
It's called the sea level. Sea
level, yeah, that's right. We measure with respect to the sea level, level being level, having no part higher or lower than the other. That's right. So, as an average, when we reference how high or low when you object with the vertical datum things are, with respect to level, having no part higher or lower than the other, and that is respect to everywhere on Earth. All of it. How high or low with respect to something that is not deviating up or down. At 0, for everywhere, always on Earth. Earth is measured flat.
It's just 1 point at Newland.
Sorry, 1 point. Sea level, 1 point, is it, Dumbo? Sea level, that's just 1 point. That was me thinking that sea meant quite a lot of stuff. The average of 1 point, you feel, do you complete clown? No, Bev. Sea level's not a single point. We had one of your numpties in the other day who said the same stupid garbage. No, Bev. sea level definitely doesn't mean a single point with respect to your vertical datum. It's sea level. Are you stupid? Are you stupid is the question. Do you think sea level's a single point?
Sea level goes up and down, Nathan.
Sorry, is single point sea level? Single point goes up and down. One single point, one dot in the known existence goes up and down, right, Dumbo? No, Dumbo, it's rhetorical. No answer needed from Bev the Dumbo when we measure how level. That's how much the sea, that's not 1 point, Dumbo. And how level it is, that's having no part higher or lower than the other. And how we can respect your objections with heights of things with respect to sea level across the whole world. The whole world's going to be referenced in terms of your heights that you use to object to flat Earth with how much it's high or low with respect to level. And level is having no part higher or lower than the other. Earth is measured flat. You may speak.
Since when is sea level up and down?
Not
I thought
you.
that was plumb.
Sea level goes up and down as the mean is the average taken at a point, 1 point.
How do you
It's
get an average?
different.
How do you get an average? How do you get an average from 1 point?
It goes up and down. You take readings
do you get an
every
average?
15 minutes, 365 days a year for, I think, 6 or 7 years. And then they take an average of all of those readings.
Sorry, all of those
to
readings.
establish
Sorry, are all of
a
those, when you say all of those, when you say
point.
all of those readings, are they all of those single point?
All of those readings, yes.
All of those
Every
single
15
point
minutes.
singular, or sorry, readings or single point? I'm a bit confused.
Readings, Nathan.
Single
Every
point. you
15
say.
minutes.
Sorry, single point?
Do you want me to
You say?
get? Yeah, I'll get
Sorry,
one.
so I'm
Can you
just a bit
see
confused with the plural and singular thing. Single point being your argument, it's a single point on a vertical datum. My argument
Mean
being
is,
my
yes.
argument being sea level is not one single point. It's sea level.
The mean
level
is a
level as a
point.
description being having no part higher or lower than the other, which means multiple points being described when you say the word level for sea level. Level can't be described as a single point because you're describing how lots of points are not higher or lower than the other, ergo not a single point that's going up and down. Lots of points, the sea, and its level, Bev. You're saying the average of all of it and how all of it having no part higher or lower than the other across multiple points goes up and down. Yeah, it does. Then we take the average to see how the average of the sea level gives us a respectful flat Earth to reference on average because we're using the sea level. Level meaning no part higher or lower than the other, inferring that it's not a single point. I think I've pretty consistently ripped your own arsehole through your throat here, Bev. Anything else?
Can I read you the thing about the UK fundamental benchmark?
No, I'd prefer you just acknowledge that having no part higher or lower than the other would infer not single point. Do you understand, yes or no?
You might learn a bit about...
Sorry, you're just going to ad hom me telling me what I might learn about when I've just rebutted your single point argument when we're talking about sea level. Level means having no part higher or lower than the other. That means parts of it, that's not a single point, Bev. I'd like an acknowledgement of how wrong you are, how stupid you are, and how your argument that's been annihilated by multiple of your dumb followers who come here is that sea level's a single point, because you describe it with respect to a vertical datum, when in reality, sea level has a description of level, having no part higher or lower than the other, immediately annihilating your single point shite, Bev.
Can I read this then?
You could acknowledge that sea level's not a single point, because to have a level means you've got no part of it, that's not a single point, higher or lower than the other. If it's a single point, you're not going to describe a single point as anything with respect to how other parts of it aren't higher or lower than it, because a single point can't be described as level, singular. You are wrong. I'd like you to acknowledge that rather than being the same coward you were earlier when you couldn't give us the logical form you didn't know because you're stupid. You could acknowledge that a single point, as per your argument, isn't going to give you a description of sea level when level is no part higher or lower than the other, not conducive with a single point as your argument stands on a vertical datum. That's 4 times I've reiterated it. Let's see if the coward tries to move on to a different subject or acknowledges that his single point argument has been annihilated. Let's see how he does. Go ahead, Bev, you may speak.
The Tidal Observatory was established to determine the mean sea level that is the starting point for levelling in the UK. This brass bolt is the benchmark for the whole of the United Kingdom. That is, all heights are referenced to this point.
Cool. So all points reference to a point that is describing how it averages the whole of the UK and how flat it is. Yeah. So great. We've got a single point to reference how flat all of the UK is. That's really useful for proving how this measurement proves Earth is being referenced as flat from an average that describes sea level running around the whole of the UK. So that's sea level. I don't know why Bev's constantly barking through me taking apart his garbage with his proof that Earth's measured flat,
You
which is
gave
all
me
this
chance
is.
to speak, Nathan, and then talked all over me, I believe.
Yeah, you've taken a proof of Earth being flat to infer that what? Sea level is a single point. They start
I was just
and
telling
give
you about the mean sea level.
They give you a single point to work with after they've taken all of the averages. That's what they've done.
If there's more than 1 point, then there's not 1 point. You're comparing that 1 point to everything else. So never 1 point, 2 points then.
Yeah, the end
2
result of
points makes
taking
sea level.
averages is a single point that they can reference as a 0 on a vertical datum. Yeah, meaning that all of the UK in this example is being referenced to a single point on a vertical datum. That means the whole of the UK is flat by reference, and you can describe on that reference how high or low it is compared to that single point. So Earth's being measured and referenced as flat to tell us how high or low stuff is. That's what's actually happening. Bev's just chanted through every single word I just said.
Right. The point is that...
Talking to Bev, Arwin, second time. Bev's just chanted through everything I responded him to. So Earth's being measured flat then?
No, Earth is not measured flat, Nathan. Unless you have a false dichotomy modus tollens that Bob set up for you.
Sorry,
I
false
take it.
dichotomy fallacies aren't the response to this. You're saying that as a base of an average, you can reference how high or low the whole of the UK is with respect to a single point. That means how high or low things are in the UK is reference to one single horizontal plane of reference after those averages have been taken. That means the UK is being measured flat.
You literally measure a change on the vertical datum, Nathan. That's literally not flat.
No, the change in vertical datum for the elevation and topology is with respect to a single point across the whole of the land. So for the whole of the land in the UK, you'll say how high or low it is with respect to a single point. Therefore, how high or low... There's the interruption again, Bev. Shall I open the line and find out what the interruption is?
It's literally...
Oh, you're just going to carry on with the interruption, not acknowledge that you're a total idiot interrupting me and moaning about how you're being talked through, right, Bev? Just project straight through the fact that you're talking straight through the middle of every rebuttal and have done with every single one. Maybe project that I'm doing that to you. Go ahead, Bev. Project that I'm doing that to you. You've just done it to me again. Go on. Project. Coward. It's only when I'm talking that you'd prefer to be talking, right, Bev? Only when I'm talking. Yeah, so all of the UK, how high or low you are is with respect to a horizontal plane. One single point that says across the whole of the UK, you can say how high or low it is compared to that point. That proves Earth is flat.
I don't think so. I don't think that proves anything. Because I've literally measured it as not flat. I don't think that proves at all.
What was it with respect to? How did you get a comparative point to start from to say how not flat it was?
from each point, isn't it?
What would that be? What would that point be?
A point.
Yeah, what are you
establish
starting
a new
from?
datum.
Are you dumb? Do you not understand the question? To say how
datum,
not flat
Nathan.
it is, what are you referencing in the first instance?
You reference one datum to another datum.
What's a datum?
And you can tell the positions in reference to each other.
I see. And those datums are with respect to an average of how level, having no part higher or lower than that. There's Bev's interruption again, middle of my statement. Maybe tell me that this is how I behave on my echo chamber, like you obviously behave in yours. You're in the middle of chanting through me there, Bev. My bad. Go ahead, chanting through me. It's only when I talk that you like to talk, right? Go ahead.
A datum's just a point, Nathan.
And that single point will give us a reference for how the whole of the UK can be described from that single point of how high or low it is. So further along, we're still going to have the same 0 point, and we're going to describe at the top of the country how you are higher or lower than that single point, proving Earth is flat for the entire length of the UK, because it can all be referenced back to a single point. So when you say how high or low Earth is on those topographical points that you measure, you can compare them to a single point that's true for the whole of the UK, proving Earth is measured flat, averaged flat, and has a single point of reference for how high or low things are with respect to that single point. That's a flat Earth proof.
I don't think so. I don't think so.
Well, if Earth was a sphere curving away from us, we'd have different points of reference because they'd be at different heights. When you say level, as in sea level, that means having no part higher or lower than the other. Well, if all of the datum points that you can reference up and down the country are all at 0 and the same, then that's factually flat.
They're not all at 0, though.
Excuse me, is that interruption while I'm in the middle of making the end of my claim again, Bev? You need your echo chamber, you need all of your numpties around you so they can come here and parrot how sea level's a single point, how angles you can do F all with.
They're not all the same, Nathan.
Let's just change the subject. You asserted you can do F all with an angle. That's what you asserted.
Yes.
Oh, well, you can assert where you are with respect to your position by using Polaris with an angle, can't you?
An angle.
Don't keep mumbling. Just
No.
yes or no.
No, you can't. Not with an angle.
Sorry.
Keep digging that hole, Bev.
Arwin, your assertion, you can't do anything with an angle, but simultaneously you can figure out your position, your latitude, with an angle. Correct?
Here's your chance to shine, Arwin.
Bev, try thinking, is an idiot. He has told his audience, quote, you can do, paraphrasing, F all with an angle. Bev has also stated, you know your latitude because of an angle.
Yeah, you can measure an angle.
So you can do things with an angle, making you certifiably stupid.
Measure an angle?
Yeah, so we're doing things with an angle then. You said you can do F all with it. That makes you stupid. You're deceiving your audience and making them stupid with this kind of stupid nonsense. Telling them to parrot off you can do F all with an angle to then clarify that an angle will give you your latitude is you making your audience more stupid by contradictions that you make. Do you understand?
Moving forward.
Not moving forward. You're stupid and your audience is being made stupid by said contradictions. Contradictions that you try to attack me with. Yes, you can do things with an angle. You know you can, but you like to lie to your audience to try and attack us when we assert that an elevation angle will prove Earth is measured flat. Because it is proving Earth measured flat. That's what an elevation angle is and does. Proves Earth's measured flat because you measure flat Earth when you make that measurement of that angle. It's the same angle that you'd get to get your latitude. An angle you said you could do F all with, making you idiotic. Bev.
Bev, every time you say you can do F all with an angle, it is quite similar as like Simon Dan from his perspective saying you and your reference frames are ruined, except you're saying it from a flat earther perspective. It's so stupid. It's unbelievable that you keep doing it.
I was saying it to Ruth.
On it, it's,
and his attempt to.
You said it to
idiotic.
me. You said it to me, Bev. And then what I did, like I'm doing now, is humiliated you so that all of your audience and mine know how stupid you are because you say stupid things. You said that to me.
We'd already said it to Ruhif, right?
Fascinating. Maybe we could blame Bob or blame Ruhif because you're an abject coward who cannot take ownership of your own mistakes. You're a pathetic man. You're a coward. Have some humility. Can't do it.
Yes, the Earth is measured not flat.
No, sorry, making your reassertion of an argument that you've already failed to prove here by blaming Bob and now blaming Ruhif, you are a coward, Bev. When you are proven wrong, as we are proving now when you say, quote, you can do F all with an angle, and, quote, you know your latitude with an angle, you have no humility. You cannot take ownership of your mistakes. You are not a man. You are a coward.
You can measure an angle to a light in the sky and call it latitude.
Sorry, you can measure your angle to a light in the sky doing something with an angle then. So you're wrong when you say you can do F all with it.
No, that's just naming an angle.
No, latitude is doing something.
It's not.
It's not. Nah, it's not fundamental basis of navigation or anything. Nah, F all is what latitude is. You are fundamentally stupid, Bev, and latitude a coward. And you're chanting through me while I point that out is also demonstration of your cowardice. You are a coward. You have no humility. You were wrong. Plenty you can do
latitude and longitude.
There's his cowardice chanting again. Coward. Excuse me. I am pointing out that you are a coward and wrong. And all you are doing is chanting through that, Bev. Coward.
Know how he measures things to be not flat, how that even works. He just keeps saying it. I don't even know what that is.
Vertical datum.
Oh, because he's got a vertical datum that's true for absolutely everywhere across the whole of the UK, which means that everywhere across the whole of the UK can be referenced to how flat it is and how high or low with respect to how flat it is. Therefore, it's not flat. Yeah, we've got topographical changes, but that 0 point that you're describing, how high or low it is with respect to, proves Earth is flat. Your argument's crap.
Doesn't.
Oh, it doesn't. It just doesn't. Your argument's crap, Bev. You've come here to position a modus ponens on behalf of someone that you'll relinquish your failure to when you fail. And now you're arguing that when you told me you can do F all with an angle, it's because you were putting it to someone else. You put it to me. Now I'm putting it back to you. I'd like you to acknowledge and have some humility for how wrong you were, you abject coward.
Right, so you've got your angle, right? Because I know this is a heated.
We better not tell me anything we're going to do with it, because we can't we're not going to do anything with it. We can't.
I know you can't. You can give it a name. You've said you could call it latitude, right?
No, elevation angle. I'm going to call it an elevation angle. We'll define it after. I'm going to call it an elevation angle. You decided to change elevation angle into just an angle because you're a coward. Facing our elevation angle, specifically named there.
An elevation angle of, say, what?
So I've just called it an elevation angle. You were going to give it a name and called it latitude. No, latitude would be your position on a map based on a concentric circle taken from an angle to Polaris. The angle had a name. It was called an elevation angle, Bev. Repeat after me.
Okay, right. So we've got an elevation angle. That we
define that. What's that?
Latitude.
What's that? We've got an elevation angle. Shut up, Arwin. Define that for me, please, Bev. Define elevation angle for me, Bev, please.
It's an angle on the vertical plane. That's it. It's just.
No, you're wrong. You're stupid. You're just making stuff up. Is this going to be another opportunity for you to demonstrate your abject lack of humility? That was not the definition of elevation angle. You're wrong. Do you know what one is? You said we've got one. What is it? An elevation angle. Not just an angle. I haven't finished. I haven't finished qualifying. You didn't know. I'll just clarify for the dumb Bev. No, Bev. You said just an angle. You've already failed to understand our argument once and requalified it as just an angle, something you've just been humiliated with and shown a total lack of humility for, and now you feel the need to interrupt me over. Nevertheless, we've already demonstrated that you repositioning what we actually say from elevation angle to just an angle has absolutely humiliated you in the process. Now you've tried to define what an elevation angle is and failed. So we can all now infer that you don't have the slightest clue what our argument is, otherwise you'd know how to attack it based on the definition of elevation angle. I will give you a definition of elevation angle where you failed, Bev. Quote, the altitude angle, sometimes referred to as solar elevation angle, describes how high the sun appears in the sky. The angle is measured between an imaginary line between the observer and the sun and the horizontal plane the observer is standing on. Do you understand that definition of elevation angle there, Bev? Would you like me to repeat it?
What? You could, yeah.
You could just stutter. I'll repeat it while you stutter and stammer about the fact that we're going to be measuring this angle flat, proving Earth flat. I'll just read the last bit. The angle is measured between an imaginary line between the observer and the sun and the horizontal plane the observer is standing on. Do you understand?
No angle to the...
Sorry, did you want to just stammer and stutter your way through the end of that statement? Horizontal plane the observer is standing on. Do you understand, Bev?
Mm-hmm.
You don't?
Yep.
Oh, well, then I'll clarify it for you if I don't understand what a horizontal plane the observer is standing on means. I can clarify it for you.
Yeah, but I was talking about the angle measures with...
Just the angle? Yeah, I know you already repositioned it to just an angle and then we humiliated you with that garbage. But then when you came to name it, I said we'd already done that. It's an elevation angle, then you failed to define it, Bev. Humiliating, eh?
Yeah, you just said it was from a point on the horizontal plane.
The horizontal plane the observer is standing on. That's sustainable by design. That's their definition. Would you like 12 more definitions of an elevation angle, or are we going to try again for the second time to reposition it to being just an angle? Because this definitely isn't just an angle. It's an angle that proves Earth is measured flat. Because in order to get one, Bev, before you keep yammering through me, to get an elevation angle, you've got to be standing on a horizontal plane of reference to get one. You understand that, right? Earth being a horizontal plane of reference, Earth being flat and measured that way for an elevation angle, not just an angle, Bev. You understand now, right?
Yeah, well, I said an angle in the vertical plane, Nathan.
That's fascinating, and we said elevation angle, didn't we, Bev?
Yeah, you.
Yeah, we did, yeah. We said elevation angle and you turned it into something else. Because you're talking about just an angle that you can do nothing with except get your latitude making you stupid. Meanwhile, your repositioning that failed with just an angle isn't just an angle when we say elevation angle that requires Earth be flat to measure one. You understand that now, Bev, right?
But the Earth is measured not flat, Nathan.
So when they say that to acquire an elevation angle measurement, it's going to be a measurement of the plane that you're standing on, that's not a plane you're standing on because that's not what an elevation angle is, even though you couldn't define it 2 minutes ago. Yeah, it is, Bev. It makes it absolutely unequivocally clear in all of the definitions that you're going to require Earth to be flat. In this case, it's defined as the, quote, horizontal plane the observer is standing on. Clear?
Wait, if It seems like you're trying to make this.
Don't ad hom me, you pathetic little weasel. I don't need to hear Bev's ad homs. He said just an angle. No, elevation angle. Just an angle gives you latitude, making him stupid. These are the facts in this matter. Meanwhile, an elevation angle measurement requires Earth to be flat. These are the facts of the matter. Earth is measured flat. Another ad hom, maybe, Bev. Tell me what I'm doing. Maybe by ad hom. Off you go.
But no, I've actually measured the Earth to be not flat. So that's the point, right? I can't get over that.
No,
Just
really?
because you say
Have
we
you
have
ever
to
measured
say
an
it
elevation
doesn't
angle?
mean...
Have you ever measured an elevation angle, Bev?
I've measured an actual elevation
yes or no
change.
Question. Yes or no question. Have you ever measured an elevation angle? Yes or no?
Yes. Nathan.
And when you
as
measured
well as
it,
an elevation change.
my bad. As a continuation to that, right? So you have measured an angle that required you to be standing on a horizontal plane then?
Well, you can always be standing on a horizontal plane, can't you?
No, you absolutely must be standing on a horizontal plane to be measuring an elevation angle, because that's what an elevation angle is, Bev.
Okay, so
you were standing on a horizontal plane of reference when you measured your elevation angle then, Bev. So, like us, you proved you measured Earth flat, because if you measured an elevation angle, you measured a horizontal plane of reference you were standing on. That's what it is.
You might have set your tool up on the azimuthal plane.
No. You measured the plane of reference that you're standing on. That's what an elevation angle is, Bev.
You're not standing on it, are you?
So when this definition, sustainable design, quote, say, the angle is measured between an imaginary line between the observer and the sun, and the horizontal plane the observer is standing on, you said Muppet being made dumber by Bev says that's not the plane you're standing on. How so? When that's excuse me. How so when that's precisely how it's defined? Pray tell.
Well, that's below your horizontal, though, isn't it? The sea.
No, it's the horizontal plane the observer is standing on by definition.
You're not standing on it if you're on a...
Sorry, it's not right then. So this sustainable by design definition, would you like one of the 13 definitions that say the same thing?
Like you making a horizontal in the air, you know.
But I'm not doing anything. I'm defining what an elevation angle measurement is. This is what it is by definition. I'm not doing anything. Defining a word. That's what I'm doing. Defining a word.
Earth, though. You're on a boat.
But we're defining words. Can you define elevation angle, please?
Yeah, you define a... You can define... You can...
You could just stutter like Bev. I've already defined it. It's regards to the horizontal plane you are standing on, Mr. Stuttery. That's what it is. That's what it's defined as. You're not going to change it by ing your way around the definition of what it is. You will be standing on a horizontal plane if you are measuring an elevation angle, because that is what it is. No matter rumpusing me through the Discord will change that, Mr. and Mrs. Stuttery.
You are establishing a horizontal reference, which is not what you're standing on.
So when it says the horizontal plane the observer is standing on, sustainable by design are simply wrong, according to you.
The wobbly boat. The wobbly boat.
Sorry, they're not talking about boats. We're talking about Socratic method and defining words.
Yeah, but, you know...
So can you define it, please? Try to keep... Man, Bev's audience, all this stupid. We are defining words. 6th attempt. Can you define elevation angle for us, please, rather than talking about wobbly boats? It's only my 6th attempt with you.
Horizontal that you're measuring your angle from.
Where's that referenced? Sorry, as per who? Citation.
Well, it's in space, isn't it?
Sorry, is this a citation or not? It seems like these people that come from Bev server are really stupid. They don't understand simple questions when I put them to them. Is this a citation?
What citation?
The one I'm asking you for when I asked you for a citation and you started babbling about stuff and then yammering through the top of me? My citation is from Sustainable by Design. It says, and I quote, line between the observer and the sun and the horizontal plane the observer is standing on, end quote, sustainable by design. That is a definition of elevation angle, proving Earth is measured flat. You say, nuh-uh, because you're from the land of Bev stupidity. So I say, okay, nuh-uh doesn't work here. I ask you for your citation. Do you understand?
Well, you know, yeah, I know, but, you know, MC2 can give you citations all day and you tell him to stick it up his arse, so that doesn't really mean...
So is this how they're trained? Bev has trained his audience to blame next man when they fail on their ass. Can you give me a citation? Answer no. No, my bad. It wasn't just no, I can't. It's McToon blame. So if we had blame by Bev's crony cowards so far, we've had blame Ruhif. Who else have we had? We've had blame. Who was this? McToon. Blame McToon.
Horizontal. Where did you learn your anger from?
Sorry, I'm listing the people that you bunch of cowards blame when you fail so far.
Oh my God, this is painful. This is very easy, guys. Wake up.
Now we have.
Did Dave teach you?
Yeah, Neil heard the response this morning.
Why are we getting Nathan? Did Dave beat me? What are you talking about? Who's Dave?
No, did Dave teach you? Did Dave teach you your sales technique?
Who's Dave?
You know Dave. You know, Moseley way, that Dave.
Sorry, meanwhile, Earth's measured flat by way of elevation angle measurements to the stars. It's how the world and the maps and the models have all been developed. These numpties from Bev want to blame another YouTuber who's not here multiple times, because that's how Bev's trained them. If you fail, blame the source that you got it from. Me, on this server, I tell people a clear message. Take ownership. Take ownership of the arguments. Don't blame the person you got it from. That's cowardice.
You don't want to address it, do you? You don't want to address it. You've established a horizontal...
do I need to address Dave? Horizontal plane of reference is what you refer to if you're getting elevation angle measurements. That's how they're defined. I asked you to get me a citation. Now you're asking me about if I know Dave and his sales techniques. It's pathetic. No. Elevation angle measurements prove Earth's flat, so let's talk about Dave. No. Citation for your version of an elevation angle. That's what we're arguing about, you bunch of cowards. Not some YouTuber that's not here.
Where's your horizontal? Where is your horizontal C? You're not standing on it.
What are you talking about? We're talking about elevation angle measurements, yet to provide a definition.
You've established a horizontal reference point. It's not where you're standing on.
Quote, sustainable by design. The line between the observer and the sun and the horizontal plane the observer is standing on. Rebuttal from Bev's cronies. No, it isn't. Nuh-uh. It's not what you're standing on. Okay, do you want to provide an alternative citation that says we're not standing on a flat plane when we get an elevation angle then? Go ahead.
How did you get...
Don't ask me something. Get me a citation that contradicts it.
Doesn't matter. It's like...
Oh, it doesn't matter. Hand waves perfectly acceptable. Bev's trained you well. Good debater. Well done.
Where is the horizontal?
Well done. You've done really well. Now get lost. You're a useless twat. Go away.
Anybody in the room, go outside in your garden.
No, he's just chanting, telling people what they're going to be doing. Don't tell my audience what they're going to do. I'll tell my audience what they can do. They can tell her it's measured flat by how it's measured flat. You're not going to suddenly take my mic and tell my audience what they're going to be doing when you failed to cite how an elevation angle measurement's done. You haven't done that. That's where we're at.
Can I please...
Elevation angles are measured in the vertical plane.
Citation, please.
There you go.
Can I please...
Citation.
Hold on,
sea level.
Hold on. Sea level. How did they get that?
Sorry, Brian, we just had a claim from Bev. He slipped it in during the audio chaos, Brian. That's why he's done it. You made something of a claim. You want to get a word in. So Bev's only tactic is to talk when I'm talking, like this coward is also doing. I heard what Bev said through the chaos. Bev said, measured in the...
In reality.
If you can't shut up, Bear, I'm going to have to remove you.
Navigate on.
Excuse me. Bev just said measured in the vertical. Citation, please, Bev.
Plane.
Can you cite that, please?
Elevation angles are measured in the vertical.
I heard your claim! Citation, please, Bev.
Citation?
Do you know what that word means? Are you too stupid to understand it? The last Ed the Bear guy didn't understand what that word meant. That it didn't matter.
You measure...
I don't want you to tell me. I'm asking you for a citation. Are you slow? Do you not... You repeated the word.
On the...
Sorry, Bev, you repeated the word citation with an upward inflection, which infers that you understood what the word meant and what you were being asked for. Now I want a citation from you, not endless babble.
It's going to be the wrong angle.
Right, I just need a citation from you, please.
Sextant is at your eye.
No, they're not going to do it. Bev Earther.
Your sextant.
Ignore all challenge.
The mean
Citation,
sea level
please.
is measured on the vertical datum.
Yeah, have you got a citation
The mean
there,
sea
Edibear?
level you need.
Edibear, have you got a citation for that? Yeah, you keep babbling. I don't need your nonsense. You're a nobody. I'd like a citation for that, please, Edibear.
You know the tool that they use for measuring angles?
I'm going to remove both of you.
It's called a theodolite.
If you can't play nicely, if you can't debate by the rules,
right?
then you're going to have to be removed, Bev. Citation.
The angle
Bev, that means stop chanting, Bev.
Either on the azimuthal plane.
Bev, I'm going to remove you if you can't stop chanting. Bev.
Now, elevation angles.
Right, somebody from the Discord server removed Bev. Try thinking because he can't stop chanting. He's causing absolute audio chaos.
Horizontal plane.
He's just causing audio chaos. Somebody mute him.
This is getting out of hand because no one's listening. No one's actually understanding what they should be understanding.
I don't need to understand anything, Brian. I'm asking them for a citation, and they're rumpusing the Discord because they've been asked for citations. Bev's made a claim. Brian, it's measured in the vertical.
The other day.
Edibear's made a claim. Brian, I've asked him for citation too. Now he's rumpusing me. I'm asking them for their citations. He's doing it again. So I'm going to have to suggest that Edibear gets muted because he cannot shut up in the middle of... Now he goes again and again and again. Edibear and Bev, you've both been server muted. We've got to the point in the discussion, debate. Not a debate, it's a statement of fact. Earth's measured flat. We measure it flat with elevation angles. I have offered you a citation. You have challenged it. Now I'm offering you the opportunity to present citation. Go. Or get lost. Edibear, what you got?
Measured elevation changes he spoke about the other day from a horizontal reference.
He doesn't know what a citation.
Shut up, Arwin. Edibear, I'll try again slower. We are at the point in the debate.
You could go to...
My bad. These coward numpties cannot listen. Should we try again for a 15th time, Edibear?
You can go to Newlyn. And you can go to the original point where the land was measured from. There's a point there. I spoke to you about the other day. You said it wasn't a point, but there is a point. It's set in the concrete. There's several near me where I live.
Right, we're talking about elevation angle measurements, Edibear. Edibear, I'm trying to get your attention, but you're just not listening to me, it seems.
You need a horizontal.
Yeah, I can hear you chanting. I know you need to chant, but I'm trying to have a two-way discussion with you. We are at the point in that, up until now, two-way discussion when you decided to go off the rails and talk about whatever it is that's not this. Elevation angle measurement. Okay. Do you understand that the subject is elevation angle, yes or no?
Yeah, you have an angle you've measured yet.
No, we don't have an angle we've measured. We have an elevation angle. So the answer was no, you didn't understand because you didn't repeat back the word elevation. Just angle.
Yeah. Well, then what?
So you disagreed.
Where do you measure that from?
I was asking... my bad, you need to relinquish the control. I understand. No, we're at the point in the discussion.
Not at all.
Yeah, now it's constant rumpusing because I've almost got him back on the track that he got to derail. No, so we'll assume that it's only when I'm talking that you want to be talking there. Nice long pause for Edibear to get anything relevant through. No, it is definitely only when I'm talking that Edibear likes to talk. Coward. I'll try again, Edibear. We'll see if you can respond after I've finished talking. We'll see how we get on with you, a coward.
Is it my turn now?
Once I've finished asking the question, it'll be your turn, but obviously you've decided that no, you're just going to try and retain the control of this discussion. No, they're intolerable. They're absolutely intolerable. They've lost badly. We're at the point where we're asking them to define what an elevation angle is, and all we get is rumpusing, so they don't have to answer. Cowards.
You are not standing on your horizontal that you are talking about.
You're both wrong. My God.
It's not the sea.
You're both wrong.
Brian knows. He really knows, but he can't say.
And you are wrong.
that the Earth isn't flat because he made
Oh no, he heard you say you're wrong, Brian. So he's going to continually talk now. He heard you say you're wrong. Therefore, there will be no concession made for you to make that.
Not standing
disclaimer.
on your horizontal.
Yeah, we heard the first 5 times. Everyone, shut up. Edabert, say it one more time without an interruption, so we can affirm that we have heard you. So you don't keep chanting it. Go ahead.
Oh, 5 times, you said. Lost my mic.
That little interlude there was what Elderbear actually had to offer. And what he has to offer will only come during my sentence, like it just did. So in the middle of that sentence, there was a long, protracted, crackly, muffly nonsense. No claim was made. All he can do is try and distract away from me pointing out that at this point in the discussion, where I ask him to define what an elevation angle measurement is, having denied my cited source, he won't do it.
You're all talking across purposes because there's a specific thing that's not being detailed.
Horizontal.
Sorry, Brian. He will only talk while you are talking in the middle of you talking, Brian.
Yeah, he needs to listen.
There's a delay.
Elderbear. What you're talking about is an elevation angle that is referencing a terrestrial object.
Can't hear you well, Brian.
Hang on. You're talking about an elevation angle that's referencing a terrestrial object. When you're making an elevation angle to a celestial object, you're always measuring 2 points.
Sorry.
Just mute him. Just mute this dick. Just mute this idiot. He won't stop talking. Brian! He won't stop talking through the middle of you. He's mumbling. Oh, I can't really hear him. But he's just a prick. He's been taught how to do this by Bev.
What is the point of him coming here if he's not? I'm trying to clear up the confusion, why people are talking cross purposes. When you're measuring a celestial navigation elevation angle, you're always referencing a straight line. You're always measuring a straight line between 2 points on the horizontal plane that we call mean sea level. It's a 2-dimensional horizontal measurement. That's what it is.
Guys.
You might be measuring in the elevation to the celestial body, but you're not measuring. Hang on, you're not measuring like a lighthouse or a tower or something or a mountain. That's a different thing. Right? It's still a right angle triangle, but you're not doing that. The measurement is
Brian,
always a measurement.
we can't hear you in Discord at all. You're just like cutting in and out all the time. So that's what Edabert was trying to say.
All right, so Nathan will rephrase it.
The audience won't get it now.
I don't want to rephrase what Brian has to say every time he says it.
Brian,
can't you just join Discord, Brian? If they can't hear you, you're going to have to join Discord. There's no alternative. They cannot hear you.
I'll join it this time just for this.
Thank you. Thank you. So are we ever going to get...
I have discussed this quite a bit, and we've argued about it. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was just saying that Brian and I have argued about this quite a bit. I think he might be able to bring some clarity to what they're missing from it. I hope.
Well, he's not in there, that I can see anyway, so I don't know if you want to attempt it, John. John?
Oh, I don't know. I'm not really into wanting to argue over. I mean, it's just.
He's cracking up too for me.
Oh, I guess I.
Yeah, it might be your end, Nathan. How's Skype doing?
Oh, shut up. Go ahead, John.
No, we can't hear. Everybody's just,
get
roboted.
Well, I think what might be
not
happening.
Lost though. Well, you might want me to be lost.
I think what might be happening is between G Plus and Discord going through your line. That might be why they aren't hearing me or Brian.
Computer.
Has Brian got on Discord yet?
The problem is they can't hear you because both Bev and Edabert are off mute. That's what the problem is. Neither of them are on local mute, so I can see Edebear's light flashing and cutting yours. So if the stupid idiot could put himself on local mute, he wouldn't cut the line to you. But he's so stupid that his own mic being open isn't caused to realise that that means he can't hear anything. Go ahead, John. There's nothing wrong with my setup, other than Brian.
Mic discipline.
Well, I'm going to talk for just a second to make sure I'm coming through. Am I coming through now, Righteous Force?
Inside of that locker.
Yeah, you're good now. You're good.
Okay. What Brian is getting ready to detail, job than me, is the horizontal plane you reference when you're taking an elevation angle is parallel to mean, and when you apply it, it's always from the surface. There are multiple horizontal planes because sea level does rise and lower. Mean sea level, though, is a horizontal plane, and that is what all topology is measured from.
All right, apparently.
And it's also into respect to the coordinate system that we use for navigation. North, south, east, and west, those are descriptions of a horizontal plane that we're going to measure from and pinpoint on the ground, surface level.
So you're not standing on the horizontal plane.
Excuse me, my position is on the surface. I will find it on the Cartesian system, my lines of longitude and latitude, descriptive of a horizontal plane.
You just described the horizontal plane as being parallel to the sea level.
Yeah, and?
So that horizontal plane, you're not standing on it, are you?
What are you referencing? It's how
I'm moving.
And that's what I said all along.
I'm moving on it.
No, you're not.
Forwards, backwards, north, south, east, west. Those are horizontal vectors.
No, you're going up and down.
No, north, south, east, and west is forwards, backwards on the horizontal plane.
I'm sorry. Did we get a citation yet?
No, we didn't. That was referencing a now a successful change of subject.
We don't need a citation.
Hold on, everyone.
Hold
on, QE. Sorry, Edebear, go ahead. Give your excuses. Feel free.
You just verified it. You verified that the horizontal reference is parallel to whatever is underneath it. That's what I said. You're not standing on that horizontal, are you?
According to my citation, yes, absolutely, you are.
And from that
I'll read out my. Oh God, it's just going to be the interruption. I'm responding to you, coward. You say no. I say yes.
Not a coward.
Excuse me. I say yes, and then I know it's only when I'm talking. Total cowardice. Got to close the line. I've got no choice. You can't tolerate me disagreeing with him and pointing out he's wrong. No, it's not what you're standing on. Yeah, according to Sustainable by Design, my citation, the one you say isn't important because you haven't got one, nothing more than a hand wave and a disagreement. No, it's not what you're standing on. Quote, Sustainable by Design, the angle is measured between an imaginary line between the observer and the sun, and the horizontal plane the observer is standing on. Have you got a citation there, Edebear?
Just verified by one of your panel that is not what you're standing on.
So it's Sustainable by Design citation that says that, not me. It's a citation for about the 12th time.
When I stand on the beach.
So here we go. Now it's into his argument. No, until you offer up a citation that challenges that, it's not a hand wave and move on to a new subject. It's a loss. Earth is being measured flat. That's what an elevation angle is, by definition. Unless you can challenge that definition.
The horizontal reference that you established, right, that's horizontal.
Yeah, the one that you're standing on.
Not the sea, not the earth.
Is that
You're
a
not
citation?
floating on it.
Is that a
Are you
citation?
floating in space?
Sorry, is it an argument or a citation?
No, that's him.
Said.
Yeah, it's not
Your
a citation.
panel said, and so did Brian. Will tell you that you can establish.
Defer to Brian, fourth person. Between Bev and Edabear, they have cast their crap argument off on a third party 4 times now. That's the 4th. You can ask Brian.
I haven't got a citation.
We're talking to you.
I need one because there's reality.
Man, these cowards. We advise on Flat Earth Debate that you take ownership of these arguments. We empower you to take ownership of these arguments. That would be to say that in victory, you say it's my victory, and in loss, it's your loss. These abject cowards will put their arguments to you, and the moment they fail, they blame the source. Total cowardice.
Yeah, a leadership is a bit to lose, isn't it, eh?
Now it's ad homs, talking about my leadership. Earth's measured flat, by way of standing on a horizontal plane of reference, as per my citation from Sustainable by Design, met with nothing but interruptions and nah hand wave. Nah, no, it's not what you're standing on. It's just part of the definition, but nah.
Don't stand
No
on the
citation.
seat. Don't stand on the seat.
Nathan, I can't join that server.
Okay. Sorry,
Hey,
Brian.
hold on, I'll fix that for you a sec, Brian.
The horizontal is floating in space, in between
Is that a
whatever's under
citation?
you and whatever's above you.
Is that
You
a
just said it.
citation?
You just said it. I
No.
don't need a citation. This is just sidewinding. You got nothing. You got nothing. That's the thing. Your
Oh,
hands
we
are
don't need
empty.
a citation.
Your hands
this
are empty.
sidewind? It's a
I
very
heard you
simple
talk about it
question.
the other day amongst you
Hard.
and with
Right, in Bev's server, it's explicitly detailed as Earth being measured flat. It is explicitly stated in Bev server. I'm not going to cite it, but Bev server makes it
I don't
explicitly.
live in Bev.
Bev server makes it clear that Earth's measured flat. No citation is required.
I do not.
Excuse me. No citation is needed. I don't need anything more than Bev server proves it's flat daily. You in Bev server prove it's flat
Alone.
daily, don't you?
I'm here alone. I'm not in Bev server.
You prove Earth is flat with everything you say always. No citation is needed. You prove Earth is flat. There you go. That's how this argument's going to progress. That's the end of the discussion. You prove it. You and your quotes prove Earth's measured flat. There you go.
I applied the same logic that you told me to apply.
But no citation needed. It's the logic I'm applying. I don't need to cite this. It's just a complete hand wave of anything you say and a statement of something that I'm not going to prove or cite. That's your standard.
That's why. You have
That's your standard. Meanwhile, I've gone to Sustainable by Design and read out a definition that describes the horizontal plane you're standing on. Your response, nuh-uh, it don't matter.
Well, not in reality, no.
Well, in reality, we measure elevation angle measurements that can save your life at sea in reality, you complete dumbass. So in reality, people are using these angles taken from a flat Earth to save their lives.
Yeah.
Yeah. Earth is measured flat, and the fact that it can be saves lives. Response from Bev's cronies. Yeah.
All the servers telling his sales team, this is the pitch.
Another ad hom. This is an ad hom. Earth is factually measured flat.
There's no telephone, to call.
No telephones.
Just take
Is that
their
a
money
citation?
and keep walking. All right.
So this is an ad hom.
Do not have.
So this is just your
anything.
personal attack.
You
Not the
have
logical
a
fallacy.
horizontal.
I advise anybody who watches Bev to give up, unsubscribe, and go and watch a few videos on logical fallacies. That's what I advise anybody who watches Bev.
It's true. It's true.
Do I? I know it's true that you really won here. No, I don't know. That's not true. Earth's measured flat. Those are the facts that we laid out by citation, by demonstration and example, and by Bev's own proof. The whole of the UK is referenced to flat. The whole lot. It's all flat. Why? Well, because they've measured it and now they can reference it and know that all of the topology changes are with respect to that plane of flat reference. Yeah, we know.
Where's that then?
I don't need any
Where are the
citations, my
citations?
friend.
We
No
don't know, we're
citations
waiting on.
needed. None. Your standards are perfectly good to just declare these things, aren't they? I mean, meanwhile, I do actually cite stuff. Sustainable by Design was cited as describing the horizontal plane you're standing on.
Yeah.
So you're just not going to listen to me, just going to chant through every word I say, right?
Well, you do. You taught me to.
I taught you to. So is this going to be the 5th person he blames? Between you and Bev, you've blamed 5 people, including me, for your failures in the arguments. Bev is training people how to be complete cowards. It's amazing.
It's ridiculous. If these people can't see it, intelligent Brian knows.
Brian knows about the citation.
That's why they want to change the name of the channel.
I don't even know what a citation is.
I don't need a citation, man. I've got reality.
Everything.
I can hear what you're saying. It doesn't make sense.
Prove that you don't know what a citation is.
What, to know what horizontal is?
No, to know what an elevation angle is.
To know
what...
just chanting. The whole lot of you just chant.
Let me know when you've done and I'll respond to you.
Yeah.
No, we were hoping you would cite...
I don't need a citation.
He isn't
I heard what you said.
He isn't done. Still triggered. Go ahead, tell me when you're done.
You said that the
You're just clearing the airwaves to stutter and stammer through me while I point out that we asked for a citation for an elevation angle specifically. You need to clear the airwaves to stutter and stammer your way through that, do you, old man? No, thank you. I don't need you to stutter and stammer your way. That wasn't worthy of clearing the airwaves for you. Your only intention is to talk while I'm talking. One trick pony, like Rumpus.
Yeah, I know. You did this to Witsit and beat him down the other day, and he was pussy enough to bow to you. What a bloody idiot.
Yeah, you know what? One of the quotes that that Witsit had, he said, "You can't just look at the horizon and know that Earth is flat." End quote, Witsit. I trimmed it out and put it into a little video. After I, beat him down, I'll take beat him down to mean educated his dumbass in the fact that that's exactly what the horizon does. You can just look at the horizon and establish Earth's flat with it. Yeah, that's exactly what it did. And at the end of that process, Witsit thanked me and told me what a great argument it was, having decried it and denied it and described extending a plane to it. Yeah, I educated Witsit. That's what I did. I didn't beat him down. The stupid man didn't think you could use the horizon to prove Earth's flat, and I had to educate him how it absolutely does that. You want to call that a beatdown? Yeah, having to educate dumbasses is sometimes perceived by people like you as a beatdown. I just infer education from that horrible, negative remark.
Horizontal is floating in space.
Right, did you just need to chant through every word I just said? Ignoring everything I just said about Witsit challenging your position, that I beat him down? Yeah, you just need to chant through every single word of that, right? So you don't have to listen to something that disagrees with your statement. You just need to make that claim and have it be chanted through if it's ever going to get responded to. Just chant through every response, right? One trick pony.
No, I'm just, you taught me this. You taught to chant through people. That's what you do.
What are you in 2nd grade?
Yeah, you're just lapdogs. What's your voice matter? Jesus
you said
Christ,
you heard what we said.
Your horizontal reference is floating in.
So as soon as someone else starts talking, his trick is wait to engage someone else in a discussion, and then as soon as they start talking about anything that he'll find objectionable, which is basically everything we say here, he starts chanting something like, the horizontal blah, 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 straight through the top of you. He's not in the position and doesn't want to have a discussion with us. He wants to wait till we start talking, and if I offer him open airwaves, he'll stutter through the open airwaves that is offered.
Done now?
Yeah, we're waiting for the citation.
There is no
for an
citation.
elevation angle.
I listened to what you said carefully. You said it's floating in space. What do you know? It's floating in space. The horizontal you have. You said you were standing on it, but you're not. It's floating in space.
I think they're pulling a book off of Sanic. They are the citation.
Right, it's floating in space is your citation, is it?
That's what you said.
No. No, you're just now lying. That is not what I said. I cited sustainable by design, and now all Bev Earthers can do is lie. That's not what I said, is it, there, liar?
I'm not lying, but...
So it's what I said. No, it's not what I said when I said it's floating in space, because I didn't say it was floating in space. You said it without any citation, and then ascribed it to me because you're an outright liar. I didn't say that.
What tools are you using?
Sorry, I didn't say that, liar. Edabear, yet another liar.
Using that
liar. Shut up, liar.
What tool are you using?
Mute him in the server. Liar.
What tool are you
Liar.
using in that
Mute him in the
citation?
server. Mute this scumbag liar. I didn't say it was floating in space. I gave you a citation, you scum. Liar. Now, last time this happened, it was Rachy 000, putting words in my mouth and saying things that I haven't said. Now, she got both barrels about her kids, and I had to go bended knee and apologise for how disgusting it was to drag her bastard children into this discussion. So if you're listening, Rachy, I apologise. There is no need to descend to such levels. However, when this occurs in future and people just say, you said it was floating in space, that's what you said. No, I won't give them both barrels about their bastard offspring. I'll just point out what I actually did say that was never acknowledged and was told was unimportant with a hand wave. Not what we're standing on floating in space is not what I said. I cited sustainable by design. And I will quote them again. The angle is measured between an imaginary line between the observer and the sun, and the horizontal plane the observer is standing on. End quote. What's that you took from that, liar? That I say it's floating in space there, Edebear? Fact. You are a liar. I'm not going to bring your offspring into it, but you are, fact, a liar, because I did not say what you claimed I said. Making you a liar? Are we clear, Bev Earthers?
What tool are you using there, then, from this citation?
I'm offering you a chance to take some humility. No, I didn't say it was in space. I quoted sustainable by design.
This isn't about the Earth. What tool are you using to measure this angle with this horizontal you're supposedly standing on? What tool are you using to do that?
What kind of angle?
Looking up in the sky or what?
What kind of angle?
Whatever angle you're talking about in your citation.
Oh, I'll tell you then. Whatever angle I'm talking about. Oh, well, I'll tell you. An elevation angle. Do you know what that is? I'm not allowed. It's whatever angle I'm talking about, but I'm not allowed to talk about it because I'm going to get talked through when I talk about it, right?
What
Coward. Coward. They're all terrified of an elevation angle. Both Bev Earthers and Globe Earthers alike, because it proves Earth's measured flat. And this is what we get. We get this type of discourse when we bring it up. All we're asking for is a citation, and all he can do is flail.
Tool. What tool are you using, you idiot?
You don't have to call me an idiot. Liar. I didn't say it was in space. I said you're standing on a horizontal plane. Maybe you can acknowledge that rather than calling me an idiot. I would prefer that you just acknowledge that I didn't say it's floating in space when I specifically cited it being a horizontal plane that you're standing on. That definitely isn't me saying it's floating out in space. I'm not an idiot. You're a liar. And now your anger at me pointing out your overt lies that you claimed I said when I didn't.
In Jamie Sea Level's new video.
He's just chanting through me. He's not having a two-way conversation. He's not listening to any objections.
He calls you slappy because he caught you hitting one of your kids.
I don't hit my kids. People hearing background noise and ascribing me being violent to my children is an absolute outrage. I do not hit my kids. But that's what this boils down to when this coward cannot acknowledge his own failures, instead calls me an idiot after he's hand-waved a citation and then lied about what I said. He brings my kids into it, says I beat them. No, I do not. What an absolute outrage.
What did you call Rachel's children?
I apologised to Rachel. Yeah? I've gone back on bended knee and asked for her forgiveness because there's no need to drag people's kids into this discussion like I did at my annoyance that she, like you, lied about things I don't say. In this instance, you've said I said, quote, that's what you said, it's floating in space. No, I object to people who lie about what I say, and I do lose my temper, and then point out a few, in this case with Rachy, facts and home truths about her lifestyle and poor decision-making. Now, that isn't necessary. I don't need to highlight her unwed status when having children because I'm annoyed that she's lied about things I haven't said. Now, those things aren't distruthful, like what you said when you lied about my citation that you haven't offered and have hand-waved.
When did Rachel's children ever come here to talk to you?
Right, we're arguing about elevation angle measurements. And
Why
you still
did you
want to
bring
keep this
her
on
children into the argument? Why are you repeating it today? Is that the kind of man you are? Did Dave teach you to do that?
So why are you repeating claims that I beat my kids here? Is that the kind of man you are? Someone making claims about criminal behaviour that I've not partaken in? What a bloody outrage. And then you're going to project that onto me.
What's Jamie's sea level and see what he says? Called you slappy.
Kick him out. Who gives a shit about you?
All he's got at this point is ad homs and personal attacks against my kids. Now, while I've got the humility to put my hands in the air and say, I was wrong to drag Rachel's kids into this, and I have approached her and apologised for it. All you can do is reassert claims of criminal abuse against my kids based on background noise.
You listen. What? Oh, listen. The problem was, Nathan, you told me not to go there, right? Don't go to Bev.
Oh.
Everybody said, don't go listen to Bev. Don't go listen to his argument. All right?
That's not the problem.
Unsubscribe. All right? So I went to listen to the argument, and I found somebody with some proof.
Sunshine.
And you lot can't...
Sunshine.
He's not listening.
We need a citation for an elevation angle. Remember? Get the Adderall drip out.
Yeah, he needs to talk about his journey. It's now on to his anything but give a citation because it's not important according to him because it annihilates his argument. Anything but.
Yeah. If you thought you'd won the argument, you'd have got rid of me by now.
What are you talking about?
And you haven't won it. You haven't won it, and that's your problem.
That's the citation.
Okay, I'll win the argument immediately. An elevation angle measurement proves Earth is being measured flat. An elevation angle is an angle between you and an object you're measuring in the sky, in this instance the sun, and the horizontal plane that you're standing on. That's a flat baseline and a line that gives you the second part of an angle. The two constituent parts of the angle for the horizontal plane that you're standing on are straight, flat, line for a baseline, proving Earth is being measured factually flat. There's my winning argument. What, you think I can just sit here and have you tell me how your crap rumpusing has somehow defeated that argument? It hasn't.
Ask Brian how he measured elevation changes.
Is that your citation?
Sitting on the ground with a...
So you just said you want to ask Brian something. Why?
Yeah, I'm trying to clear up this confusion. That's what I was trying to do earlier.
Confusion. There is no confusion.
Confused to me.
Okay, right, Brian. Brian, I'm glad you're in Discord now because we can actually hear you. QE, raise your objection, then let Brian go. Go ahead, QE, because otherwise you're just going to get him saying there's no objection through the top of your constant.
QE's here as well.
There is no confusion here. All we're asking for is for them to support what an elevation angle is by mere citation, not the application of it, not anything else. We just need a citation for what an elevation angle is. That's it. There's no confusion.
Yeah, there is confusion. Otherwise, I wouldn't be asking.
I understand that point, but there is a cross purposes going on here. Because if I'm measuring an elevation angle on the land, right, with a theodolite...
They don't know what it is yet.
Hang on.
You're into application. I just said it's not about application.
We're trying to shut you down, Brian.
I know what's going on here. I've heard it earlier when I put on the live show. I could hear exactly what was going on. When you're measuring an elevation angle, right, on the land with a theodolite, either leave me finish or I'll just fucking hang up because I couldn't be bothered anymore.
Trying to control it, Brian. Keep going.
This is going on. I don't need you telling me about anything here about because you're wrong as well. You're all wrong. When you're measuring an elevation angle on the land and you're with a theodolite, then the horizontal is at the scope of the theodolite. When you're measuring an elevation angle to a celestial body at sea, then you're always either paralleling, right? Either paralleling mean sea level, that's a horizontal distance between 2 points on mean sea level, which is a horizontal plane, or when you refer to the almanac to make adjustments of accuracy to your elevation angle, they place the vertex and the adjacent of the elevation angle on mean sea level. You're measuring horizontally a horizontal distance across a horizontal plane that we call mean sea level when you're using a sextant. That's what you're actually doing. With a theodolite, it is different. You're measuring from the scope only. There's a difference. It's so simple. Why can't people get this?
That's what I said, Brian. It's just measured in the vertical plane.
But no, Bev, it's not just that. You have to refer.
It's always measured in the vertical plane.
Hang on,
from one point to another, referencing the sun, the stars, wherever, from a horizontal or to the horizon.
We're talking about the measurement, Bev. The measurement with a sextant. Right, you can go to the site reduction tables, right, and how they're measured, right, or what they're pre-assuming. In the almanac, it's always pre-assumed that the vertex of the elevation angle and the adjacent of the elevation angle is at mean sea level. The elevation angle itself is a measurement in the vertical, but you're measuring the whole point of it is with celestial navigation is to measure a horizontal distance across mean sea level. You're only dealing with two-dimensional horizontal measurement. That's what you're doing. That's the point of it. That's why in the almanac, the almanac pre-assumes that the vertex and the adjacent is at mean sea level. It doesn't matter what's happening at the scope of the theodol, of the sextant. That doesn't matter because it's always pre-assumed. And for best accuracy, it's the vertex and the adjacent is placed on mean sea level, which is a horizontal plane.
Mm-hmm.
That's
referenced always.
That's where the confusion.
Yeah, the elevation angles measured in the vertical plane, and the elevation changes are measured on the vertical datum.
No, you're not dealing with a vertical datum when you're dealing with a sextant, Bev. You're not dealing with any
elevation changes. I said, Brian.
You're not dealing with those. That's the point. That's something you would do with surveying. You're not doing that.
I was linking the elevation part of that statement.
Can we get a citation?
In the vertical.
Could we get a citation? Hold on, Brian. Could we get a citation for that?
What, that they measure these elevation angles in the vertical plane?
Can I get a citation?
You're going to need a baseline for that.
Citation for that?
It's sort of implied, isn't it?
Could I get a citation for it? No? No worries, I'll give you one. Elevation angle is the angle between the horizontal plane and the line of sight measured in the vertical plane. That's from Radar Tutorial.
Measured in the vertical plane, did it say?
Yeah, between the horizontal plane. That's right, Bev, yeah.
That's what I said, measured in the vertical plane.
So we're in agreement. So you agree with that citation?
So you agree, right.
Bev, so you agree with that citation?
That the elevation angle is measured in the vertical plane, yeah.
That's only half the that's only half the citation, though, isn't it? So what you're saying is you only agree with half of the citation, then?
Yeah, as long as it says vertical, he agrees.
I see. So what about the bit that you're measuring that with respect to? So I'll read it again. Elevation angle is the angle between the horizontal plane and the line of sight measured in the vertical plane. So we're starting with the bit that you're ignoring there, Bev, because you're only acknowledging half of the citation there. You like the other guy who put the horizontal plane the observer is standing on. You notice how they both had horizontal plane specifically referenced. He said it was in space, even though the citation said we were standing on it. In this instance, we're measuring from the horizontal for the line of sight measured in the vertical. With respect to the horizontal plane, though. Very specifically, with respect to the horizontal plane. You understand now that Earth's measured with respect to that horizontal plane of reference.
That's what Brian was trying to tell you.
Or is it just only the interruption right at the end of the statement when you understand the question's coming? He detects a question's coming. So best to start talking right at the end when that question's about to come, right, Bev? Total coward.
The horizontal plane, Nathan, can be either above you.
Yes, Bev. Yes, the horizontal plane, Nathan. Yes, I'm going to respond to you. Yes, the horizontal plane. Yes, Bev. Yes, the horizontal plane the observer is standing on. Yes, that horizontal plane, Bev. Yes.
You're incorporating the angle of depression into your angle of elevation, are you?
No, it's just defined that way. Sustainable by design, for instance, Bev. The altitude angle, sometimes referred to as solar elevation angle if we were measuring the sun, in brackets, describes how high the sun appears in the sky. The angle is measured between an imaginary line between the observer and the sun. So that's an imaginary line between you and the sun, right? You understand that's an imaginary line. And the real bit is the horizontal plane the observer is standing on. End quote. Sustainable by design. So do you just want to take the imaginary elevation angle line to the star and ignore the horizontal plane the observer is standing on? Would that be more beneficial to your crappy argument there, Bev?
Yeah, like, because if you were up on top of a mountain, right, you definitely get the horizontal of the plane that you're standing on top of the mountain.
Yeah, you do dip correction, Bev.
Would you project that?
Yeah. What you have to do,
over
Bev,
there?
is I'm answering you, Bev. There. Yeah, if you were at the top of a mountain and you happen to be using a mariner's sextant, then and you could obviously see the horizon, then you'd have to know the exact height above the flat Earth that you'd be dip correcting to. See, the dip correction is to get your eyes back on the surface level because you need a horizontal plane of reference. So you can do this thing called dip correction that accounts for your height above the surface level. Because that's what you need.
So
that's
your initial
I haven't finished
angle.
there, Bev. I realise that you need to talk straight through this rather complicated answer when you can't even define what an elevation angle. To you, it's just an angle you can do F all with because you're stupid. I realise you need to start talking right at the end of this conclusion. What you're doing is you're correcting to the surface level. That would be the Earth with no part higher or lower than the other as a reference, because Earth's flat, Bev. That's what you need when you do dip correction up a mountain. Now, I appreciate that by asking you didn't even realise it could be done, because you thought you had a little gotcha there, didn't you? Well, no, Bev, you'd correct that up a mountain sextant measurement with dip correction to the surface level.
Yeah, which means you wouldn't just have an elevation angle. You'd have an angle measured in the vertical plane.
What's that?
But it would incorporate the depression angle as well, wouldn't it?
But what's that? If we had an elevation angle, what's that, Bev? What's your understanding of what an elevation angle is? Could you define it for
It's
me?
an
Maybe
angle
cite it.
measured in the vertical plane.
With respect to the horizontal plane that we're standing on, as per the sustainable...
Well, you could...
As opposed to you interrupting at the end of the annihilating bit.
And then separate that angle.
Oh, Bev, it's absolutely pathetic. Maybe just interrupt the devastating bit because then you won't have to listen to it. The devastating bit about the horizontal plane of reference that you'll be referring to when you get the height in the vertical. Yeah, Bev, yeah. With respect to the horizontal plane of reference you're standing on.
Elevation change.
No. Height in the vertical with respect to the horizontal plane of reference you are standing on.
Yeah, the elevation change. In order for you to be able to incorporate the
elevation
depression
angle
angle.
measurement, not elevation change. No, Bev, that's something else. Elevation change isn't elevation angle measurement. Those are different things because they're different words.
You don't imagine that an elevation change also has an angle. Do you know?
Interesting.
All right,
but you'd establish the elevation, the horizontal at the top. I think that's what Airbag was saying.
4 degrees.
Above.
Hold on, Bev. I think
that's a lie,
Bev. For you.
You're just making shit up. Elevation is not described in degrees, is it?
Elevation changes is measured on the vertical datum.
To keep your lives together, Bev, but come on, don't just throw any nonsense out there. It makes you look really stupid. Which you're doing a good job, but just, little breath before too many stupid things come out. Yeah? How are you? Bright full tower. It's 15 degrees in elevation.
15 degrees in elevation. No, because we're arguing about an elevation angle, but he's talking about elevation changes because this is a painful subject where we must measure Earth flat.
That's what I've just picked up on.
You measure the Earth to be not flat.
He's now describing elevation in degrees because in his switcheroo, he's not been able to do it very smoothly, has he? As he keeps bullshitting.
Elevation
angle. The line, you see, is it's hard to keep it together because it comes nonsensical, Bev. I've listened to it a long time. You've got no shame, my friend. No humility, yeah? And frankly, very little intellect, by the sounds of it.
Yeah, he's really stupid. which surprises me because he's managed to garner quite an audience. But they come here and parrot his stupidity and get ripped apart in the same way.
Tiny audience.
And then presumably they go back to him and he massages their ego into believing that the stupid shit they've had taken to pieces is still good because they're still saying it. I mean, even when their illustrious leader Bev himself interrupts every single point that he's got wrong or had corrected or not cited or hand waved, or his Muppet crew that did the same, have that happen to him, he just thinks that if he chants through it, what people won't hear. That's his attitude.
May I ask a question?
Can I just hang on?
I just got one more bit of beratement before we go. Genuinely,
Brian's still in the middle.
You need to have a look at yourself, mate. You need to have a real good, and you probably need to listen back to this because anybody who's not part of your specialist crew, is listening to this thinking, "What the hell is this delusional Dunning-Kruger keep going on about and back to?" Yeah, what is your problem, Bev? Why are you here? I'll tell you why you're here. You're not here to discover truth. You're part of the shill crew that's here to attack flat Earth debate. Because we're stood there spitting truth, it hurts you, doesn't it? Yeah, and because you've got some hidden agenda, that's why you're here. But you're not here to help people, are you? You're a deceitful person, aren't you? That's out there to confuse people, Bev, which is what you've done today. It's what you do on your show. But it's been demonstrated today, Bev, so thank you for an absolutely eloquent demonstration of what a snidey, disingenuous person you are.
That's the problem I had. It seems like Flat Earth debate is under attack for bringing Flat Earth truth out. So it's like, I don't get it. It's proving Earth is flat, and it's receiving such disdain from supposedly our own. That's questioning to me.
The reason I brought the almanac up and the site reduction tables is because it takes the dip correction out of it, because it places the adjacent and the vertex of the elevation angle on the horizontal plane that we call mean sea level. The whole point of the celestial navigation measurements is to garner your position on a two-dimensional grid. It's
why are you bothering, Brian? We all know this, Brian, right?
Let him. I want. This is the main bit. Adam, I could throttle you. Let him. This is the main bit. Let him say it.
I'm just saying they're not worthy of it.
Point.
My audience is definitely worthy of it. Yes, please, Brian. Yes, please.
Yeah, the whole point of what you're measuring in celestial navigation, and this is why the almanac places the vertex and the adjacent of the elevation angles at mean sea level, is because the whole point is you're measuring horizontal distances, right, that become the radius of great circles, which are two-dimensional as well. That's straight lines and circles, right? You're measuring these things on the two-dimensional latitude and longitude grid, which is placed at mean sea level. That's the whole point of it. So any nonsense you might be doing with dip correction or anything else, the end goal is for the adjacent and the vertex of your elevation angles to be placed at mean sea level. That's the end goal. It's not, with a theodolite, you're not going to be doing the same thing because that's a surveying thing. You're doing things differently. That's different. Now, when Bev says you're going to have to take into account the depression angle with the dip, he is correct. You are. But that's why I went straight to the almanac and straight to the site reduction tables, where they pre-assume that the adjacent and the vertex of the elevation angle are at mean sea level. So you're taking all that out of it. All the measurements for celestial navigation are done on a two-dimensional plane. That's the actual measurements. Now, you will be, the elevation part, you will be measuring in the vertical plane, but it's in respect to that horizontal plane. The final measurements that you're getting, which is 3 circles of equal altitude, none of them are in the vertical. The final measurements that gives you your position fix, they're all placed on a two-dimensional plane, which is mean sea level. That's the whole point of this, of celestial navigation. You're plain sailing, you're treating the Earth as just as if it's one big horizontal plane.
Right. And
that's the whole point.
Exactly.
It's conceptual.
Perfect, Brian. And comparatively, the single point that you would reference to give you your heights above or below, it's the same. It's referencing the whole area that Bev gave as an example as a horizontal plane that you can reference, how high or low. So when you look on an ordnance survey map and it tells you how high or low the topology of the land is, it's across the whole of the flat map because it's all referenced to one single flat point. That's the point. It proves Earth's measured flat.
I'll even go a point further than that. You can't have a vertical plane without a horizontal plane.
Exactly. If you just focus on the vertical, you haven't got a flat plane. Doesn't exist. If you ignore half the citation that says you're measuring in the vertical, then you're not referencing with respect to the horizontal. You can just ignore half the reference. It's pathetic. Earth's measured
Well, you
flat.
can't refer to one without the other.
Yeah.
You can't refer to one without the other. You can't. One creates the other automatically. Horizontal creates vertical, vertical creates horizontal. It's an automatic thing. Yeah. I just think there's cross purposes going on.
They've got rumblings in the community. They're here for audio clips of Nathan being triggered so that Jamie Sea Level can put together another hit piece. That's why they're here.
Probably. The audience recognises the greater good of my motivation, though. So, yeah, you might get a few clips of me getting triggered. And I've said already, like I said with Rachie, no, I don't mind taking on responsibility for my actions. If I've done something wrong, I'll admit to it. No worries. Does it change the overall motivation going forward? No. Does it change how strong it is to argue that Earth's measured flat in all instances? No, definitely not. Might mean that I have to take a few on the chin. So what? I don't care. I'm a big boy. I can cope. And I can take responsibility for my own actions. Wrong or right, I'll take responsibility for you. Unlike what we've had exhibited here today. Has any responsibility been taken? They offer up an argument, and when it fails, they blame the source of the argument. The amount of times I've said, if you go forth with the Black Swan and fail, and they go, oh, well, QE's crappy argument, that's a disgrace. That shows there's such a lack of humility. It's like if you can't take ownership for the argument, and I have to double-edged sword say, unfortunately, when QE says, well, I'm getting credit for these arguments you've got straight off my website. Well, I'm sorry, QE. I have to fight that battle both sides of that coin, which is to say, if you take ownership of the argument and you can convey the argument and win with it, it's your argument. You take ownership of it. Good for you. You've learnt it. You can effectively deal out those blows. Good for you. You take that win. It's yours. It is. But it's also your loss if you can't even form the logical consistency that you're claiming you're here proving. Oh, it weren't me. It weren't me. Absolutely pathetic. We're dealing with weasels. That's what we're going at.
The horizontal is still floating in space, though.
Did we get a high say?
Is that what I said?
Celestial navigation.
Is that what I said, liar?
1 second.
I said it was floating in space, did I there, liar? You have to lie, don't you, too?
Somebody this afternoon referring to the Black Swan as a POTUS Mullins.
It's a POTUS Mullins,
the level
indeed.
of understanding of it, yeah. It's been great.
What's the form of that POTUS Mullins there, Adam? Can you give me the logical form of it?
Looks like it's falling apart to me.
I suggest you blame QE when I ask you and you can't give it me.
Yeah, it's his fault.
Excuse me, we're just mocking you boys. Do you mind? Sorry, did you want to blame QE for your failure to give me the logical form there, Adam? Just blame someone else. It's far easier than taking ownership.
Arwin's fault.
Arwin's fault, absolutely. Professor Dave's fault,
Arwin's
perhaps.
fault for a load of closet homosexuals fancying him, you see.
Yeah,
so because loads of closet homosexuals make videos about Arwin, it's his fault.
Absolutely,
Yeah, I think it was
Arwin's fault.
Adam's argument. Adam helped out with that one.
Sorry, did you not pick up on the fact that we're mocking you? Hello? Did you not pick up on when we're mocking you? Do you not realise what's going on here?
You can't mock me.
They're not actually.
When my brothers come to call, you'll know it was me who sent them, okay?
Anyway.
Or it's either that or they're that dumb, they're just happy to be talked about. So they'll take it as an insult and just think, oh, somebody's actually talking about me.
It's really sad.
You didn't.
It is sad.
You're not standing on the horizontal.
Sorry, the horizontal plane of reference the observer is standing on as per cited by Sustainable by Design. You feel that rumpusing the Discord server with that blurting out of a hand wave dismissal is somehow going to be successful. Why? It's pathetic.
I cannot lay in my garden with a ruler and sight it across the garden
That's exactly what you do when you measure an elevation angle measurement with respect to the horizon. What you do in your garden is absolutely pathetic. Yeah? What you do if you're using a mariner's sextant is establish Earth as flat, measure Earth flat. That's what you do.
A garden. You just look across from the corner there where you are. You haven't even got a garden.
No, I live in a flat.
I know.
Is that the citation?
I know where you lived in a flat.
No, I'm still waiting for the citation, QE.
Sorry, is this you doxing me now? Mocking my home circumstances? Is that right? You haven't even
You're
got
talking
a
about
garden.
the gardeners who haven't got a garden.
You haven't even got a garden, therefore Earth can't possibly be flat.
You said you lived in a flat. I agreed. I said, yeah, okay, you live in a flat.
Yeah, so what? Earth's measured flat. When you establish a horizontal plane of reference, that would be the horizontal...
Yeah, but when I lay...
Rumpus me! I would suggest that me pointing out my winning argument again requires you to just talk straight through it. You detected it was coming. Yeah, so it'd be the horizontal plane of reference that the observer is standing on, Adabert.
Yeah, and the ground is below that or above it.
No, you're standing on it. It's a horizontal plane of reference the observer is standing on when you measure the horizon with a sextant. That's what you're standing on, as cited. You didn't cite anything, you hand-waved it, and then lied and said that I said it was in space. Yeah, like a liar?
You're just telling people...
You're just lying about what I didn't say when I cited it about 12 times. You then misrepresented what I said, lied, and said I said it was in space. That's what you said. No, it was not. You are a liar.
Keep telling the mantra.
No, it's not a mantra. It's pointing out that you lied about me. You said it was in space, ignoring the citation, and then claimed that that's what I said, making you a liar.
No, I asked you what tool you're using. You wouldn't tell me. When you were measuring it and you're standing on this horizontal, what tool are you using to measure that angle with? Hey, your glasses?
There's only one tool around here, isn't it? One large tool.
No, what is it though? What's the tool you're using to measure your angle on this horizontal you're standing on?
Yeah,
a sextant. Is it the one Brian's talking about?
Sextant.
There's a category here.
Yeah, sextant.
The measurement of it and the definition of it are not the same. So when the elevation angle... One second, Erdebar.
Okay.
Just listen to me for a second. The definition and the measurement of an elevation angle are two different things. How you're defining it, or how it's defined, and how you measure it are not going to be the same.
I'm not interested in the angle particularly.
Sorry, hold on, Brian. Brian, let him respond. Brian. So did you say you're not interested
the
in
horizontal
reality?
You haven't got until you establish it. That one.
How would you do that?
You know, that horizontal you haven't got until you have to establish it.
Or by pointing the sextant at the horizon, for example?
At your eye, yes.
Sorry, you point the sextant at the horizon and look at the horizon to establish horizontal. Yes, that's exactly what we do. We establish Earth as a horizontal plane of reference by holding a sextant and looking at the horizon. That's right.
Yeah, that's it. I can go to Google too. I thought you were better than that. But you...
What are you talking about? I'm talking about you asking me what tool will be used and how we will use the tool to establish a horizontal plane of reference. My answer, you point the tool that measures the angle at the horizon and it establishes Earth as flat, a horizontal plane of reference. So I'm answering you, you just don't want to listen. He's rumpus to every word of my response. Every single word. This guy is rumpus personified. Like, quite literally, he doesn't want to listen to a single word I'm saying and is now causing continuous audio chaos. Do you know that? If you want to know how that's happening as an audience member, while I'm talking, the gate's closed. See this light here where Edabert is flashing? You see that? That means that he is continually talking while I am talking, therefore not listening. Now, the reason they do that, it's a rumpus trick, is so that they don't have to respond to anything that's put to them. For example, the establishment of a horizontal plane of reference to measure an angle by looking at the horizon with a tool will induce an interruption, because pointing out that we use the tool to establish Earth as flat by pointing it at the horizon, in answer to his question, isn't going to be something he can respond to, because we've just proved Earth's measured flat.
Nathan, aren't these guys supposed to be flat earthers or at least anti-ballers?
Who cares?
I don't know what they are.
I know, and I'm not supposed. I just have to look at the motivation of these people. They turn up.
Yeah, I'm not a flat earther, Adam.
What have they turned up to do? No, I know you're not. Mate. We know you're a baller. We know you're on the ball side, Bev. Look at all the attacks you do to flat earthers. Look at what you do, Bev.
I came here to help Nathan.
And you know what? Thank God you're not.
Did you come to help me learn that you
Nathan's
can
got
do
nothing.
all with an angle?
That's
You
why
were
he
wrong,
needs
though.
some help.
Thank
Got
God.
nothing.
Thank
wrong,
God
though.
you're
No,
in
I came here to show you how you can measure the Earth flat by just measuring a straight line as being the shortest distance.
No, what you did was you offered a logical fallacy that had been offered to you by somebody else. And when I pointed out that it was a logical fallacy and you'd been duped by said logical fallacy, you told me that no, we proved the logical fallacy with logical consistency. You're just stupid. That didn't help me. It helped me point out how stupid you are to my audience. That's how it helped me.
Your model affliction stopped you from seeing the bigger picture.
What are you babbling about? I don't have a model affliction. When I measure an elevation angle measurement, you think I'm model afflicted when I measure an angle? Do something with it. That's not model affliction.
Delusional. What? For the
Are you
sextant, you're
delusional,
right.
Bevtard? Bevtard,
I'll go over it tonight. Don't worry.
Is that your citation, by the way?
The epic. It'll be probably the most epic of 2024 so far.
5 hours of conversation, all going over this.
He doesn't know what a citation is.
No, they don't.
Oh, it's not flat.
It's not a citation.
And you're not even standing on the flat. You're talking about.
That's what you come on to say. Earth is not flat.
That's all
well
they've got.
done.
That's what they've got. Earth is flat. That's how it's measured. So when we take an elevation angle measurement, we're taking a measurement in the vertical with respect to the horizontal plane of reference the observer is standing on by definition. That's what an elevation angle measurement is. So when they come on and just chant, Earth is not flat, we only deal with the vertical. And several of the Discord server point out, no, you can't have the vertical without respect to the horizontal. The two are intrinsically linked. They just ignore it. Or when we read out a citation that says that the vertical measurement that they only want to pay attention to is with respect to the horizontal plane, they only affirm the second half of the definition because they can't cope with the first half. But they think they've won. No, Earth is flat. That's how it's measured.
Can I ask a question?
Measured with elevation changes, right, Nathan?
Sorry, when we were talking about measuring an elevation angle, something you're yet to define, it needs to be changed to what? An angle of elevation change? Adam already called you out with this, though, didn't he, Bev?
No, he...
Stuttering little bitch. Yeah, Adam absolutely caught you out with this, Bev.
In reality, Nathan...
Maybe if you shout louder through me, pointing out that Bev already caught you with this. You were already caught by Adam with this exact trick.
Nathan, he doesn't want to lose his income.
And now he's got his little white knight Edda to rumpus this too, right? We already caught you out. Adam caught you.
No, he came over because you got...
Maybe if you go really high-pitched, you'll get away with it in the audience's mind.
Yeah, I know.
But elevation angle, right, is actually elevation change angle, is it? Right, Bev? This little crappy trick that Adam caught you on and then berated you for, you're going to rumpus your way through it, right? Just rumpus your way through it.
What will you do if you don't have this channel?
Numbers are up. Bear.
Yeah. Are they? Do we get them up? Do we get a percentage? Do we get a...
Do you get a measurement of Earth flat with an elevation angle measurement that's taken off a flat plane that you're standing on? You will get that from me. That's what you'll get. You won't get a percentage of anything other than the flat Earth measurement that both of you know is the fact. Your little rumpusing...
Maybe.
Go ahead.
Sorry, maybe go get Dave Rakia and SC Montreal and come back.
Dave?
Air the Bear, can I ask you a question?
Go on, Brian. You're not so bad, Brian. I think you know the truth, Brian.
Yeah, Rakia.
I think you're closest myself.
Rakia pointed out the horizon established Earth flat last time I spoke to him. He said the very best
Brian was talking.
Very best tool you could use to get a horizontal plane of reference was the horizon with a sextant. Rakia made that explicitly clear last time I spoke to him. He knows Earth.
Rakia now he got
My bad, still in the middle of the same sentence. Rakia knows Earth is measured flat. The very best tool you can do that with is the horizon, according to Dave Rakia.
He's been around for years as well.
He knows Earth's measured flat, doesn't he? Very best tool you can use to establish a horizontal plane is the horizon, according to Dave Rakia. Very best.
You've been here 10 years.
Keep talking and stuttering while you think of something else to respond to the fact Dave Rakia measures Earth flat with a tool known as a sextant on a boat by pointing it at the horizon, and in his own words, quote, the very best tool for doing so is the horizon. Maybe you can talk about how you'll be having a little show about this later instead.
Yeah, I'm a newbie. Okay.
I'm not. I've been here 10 years and I know Earth's measured flat. Newbies believe it and then go to places like Bevs server to be fed total garbage and contradictions. I prove Earth's flat
It's
by
not my
measurements.
server.
One of those measurements was affirmed by Dave Rakier. You were about to bring up Dave.
I'm on your server now.
Sorry, we're going to only defer to your Dave when you need to be a coward. You brought up lots of Daves. One when you were trying to defer your crappy failure to the originator of the argument. In this case, we've got Dave Rakier, who knows the horizon's used to measure Earth flat. He detailed it. Very best
dig
tool,
in
he
your
said.
little pot of ad homs now.
Not ad homs, this is an argument. Earth measured flat. Tool being used the horizon as detailed by Dave Rakier, and in his words, it was, quote, the very best tool.
With the horizon you were standing on, with the sextant that you...
No, I didn't say with the horizon I was standing on. It seems like you're adding in little words to make it sound absurd there, Elder Bear. No, don't misquote Dave Rakier. I'm sure Dave wouldn't be very happy with you lying about Dave saying that he's standing on a horizon. Dave Rakier didn't say that. Don't lie about what Dave Rakier says, Elder Bear. He's not here to defend himself, but I will quote him when he says the very best tool is the horizon for establishing Earth as flat. Don't lie about what Dave says. He didn't say we were standing on a horizon. Do you understand? Don't lie about my friend Dave Rakier. Don't do it again. How dare you?
He actually said when he's standing on his boat.
Yeah, he
just fucking wimp.
He just didn't say, like Elder Bear lied about, standing on a horizon when he misrepresented Rakier. Like the scum he is, he needs to misrepresent what Dave Rakier actually said. When I quote him, I've trimmed him out saying it. But this scumbag's going to lie about what Dave Rakier said, aren't you, Elder Bear? You're going to say he said we were standing on the horizon. Lie and misrepresent about what Dave Rakier actually said. You're going to lie about Rakier, aren't you, Elder Bear?
No, I'm just going to remind the audience that it's you.
I'm going to remind the audience that you just made out like Dave Rakier said we were standing on a horizon. We're definitely not, and it's not what Rakier said, liar.
That attacks women and children.
Right, now he's going to be back to the ad homs when I talk about measuring a horizon to establish Earth as flat. He brings up Dave Rakier. I point out what Dave Rakier has said in quotes. He misrepresents it and talks about standing on the horizon, and he goes into his rumpusing tactics. I think they are shills, Adam. Because all this guy has done, he's like a sidekick to Rumpus. Isn't he?
He's lower than that.
It's the other Dave, you know.
They are here just in audio clips. That is, they've stated that. Wait till we go over on the shooter. They've said something about Jamie's sea level and his hit pieces. They're here to try to get us upset so that they can turn around like bullies and
bullies.
We got them, and what we got.
You're being bullied. Look at you.
It is
you
probably the single most disgusting thing I've ever seen a human being doing, and you should be ashamed. You are disgusting people.
Yeah, you're all wimps on that panel.
Wimps that can't admit when they're wrong. For instance, saying you can do F4 with an angle only to describe getting your latitude from an angle. I mean, not being able to concede that is Bev being a complete wimp.
Pretty poor product he's got for sale.
Let me ask Elder Bear something. Elder Bear, can I ask you that question now?
Well, if they let you, Brian, yeah.
They will. They will. Right. Everyone will leave me ask you this. If I say the Earth is flat, am I making a geometric claim?
Well, you know, flat isn't a very good word to use, is it really? Because what's that?
But that's not what I asked you. I asked you.
It was a yes or no question. This scumbag will not answer a yes or no question. Just a complete scumbag. He's going to obfuscate into his opportunity to now demean whatever he demeans, call us, child abusers, whatever else he's got to throw at us, women abusers. That's what he's going to do. He's not going to answer your question yes or no. He hasn't got that in him. That's not what he's here for.
You didn't make any geometric statement there. That's right, Brian. You didn't make any geometric statement before Rumpus lumpused over us then.
Right. Because if I said the Earth is a horizontal plane, then I am making a geometric statement or a geometric claim, and I can be held to that. Whereas flat is a description. So it is correct to describe the Earth as flat. That is correct, because there's no better description for it. Yes.
Yeah, but flat can be vertical as well, can't it?
Yeah, it can, yeah.
Well, vertical is vertical. When you brought in vertical, you brought in an orientation and you made it geometric.
No, it's just a descriptor. You said describe something.
Yeah, but flat describes. But when you brought in vertical,
so it doesn't go very good with horizontal. That's what I meant. It's not very good with horizontal because it could be
something horizontal and vertical. Then you're bringing in geometry into it. I'm talking about flat itself. What is the word flat? It's like the word round. They're just descriptor.
Description of something. Yeah.
Yes. So if I describe the Earth as flat, then I'm not making a geometric claim, and my description is correct.
Until you measure it. Until you measure it. Until you measure it.
No, hang on.
Yeah, but no, but.
1 second. No, hang on. I'm being fair with you. You don't need to get smart with me, right? When you go measuring it, then you're talking about geometry and measurement and surveying. I'm talking about when I describe the Earth as a whole and I describe it as flat, that is the best and most accurate description of the Earth. Do you know that if you take the full area within the latitude and longitude grid, then Mount Everest, which is the highest elevation point above mean sea level that we're aware of, right, is less than half the height of a human hair. Right? My table downstairs is flat. The kitchen floor is flat. Right? Does it mean that it doesn't have undulations? No. But as a description, it's flat. If I call them horizontal, then specifically, I would be wrong because I'm making a geometric claim because they may not be exactly horizontal. But if I describe them as flat, it's just a description. So when you attack somebody, or say, not attack, but if you say to somebody, but there's elevation changes. Yes, but that doesn't change the description. It doesn't make the description incorrect. Do you understand what I mean? So someone saying the Earth is flat is not making a geometric claim.
No, but the tagline is, though, isn't it? The Earth is measured flat. That's the sales pitch. I'm talking about the sales pitch. The sales pitch. Everybody has to repeat without explanation. That's what we've got to do. Repeat this. Don't explain it. You don't have to anymore.
We're moving off of the topic, right? My point is that. Yeah, but my point. Well, as a description, there's no better description for the Earth. There is no more accurate description.
How far have you been? How far have you been?
What do you mean?
The celestial navigation doesn't work differently on the other side.
Arwin, stop. Arwin.
How do I know what? Hang on, how do we know what, Arwin? You asked me, how do I know? How do I know what?
How do you know it's flat?
Because that's the best way to describe it.
What about if you live in the mountains?
Measured curvature. The best way to describe the Earth is as flat. We don't have any consistent measured curvature. The best way to describe the Earth as a whole is flat. Flat is a descriptor. It's not a geometric claim. You will find flat detailed in geometry. You will find flat used to describe things like a triangle is described as flat, a circle, a square described as flat. Horizontal, right? The orientation of horizontal is described as flat. The orientation of vertical is described as flat. But
it's way simpler than that, man. Way simpler than that. You can't have the rise without the run.
Yeah, I understand that. But the point I'm making is when I'm describing the Earth, and I say Earth is flat, right? I'm not making a geometric claim. So you're in a category error if you want to start telling me about elevation changes. Because I'm talking about the whole Earth. There's elevation changes, there's undulations, which would be elevation changes on my kitchen table. But that doesn't mean me describing my kitchen table as flat is wrong because there's no better description for it.
Yeah.
So you're in a category error if you're attacking me.
Like Bev did with the
or
whiteboard.
Attacking somebody.
Remember? Bev gave an example with a whiteboard. Whiteboard's flat.
Well, yeah, whiteboard is flat, but that's the only way he can describe it. How else can Bev describe his whiteboard but flat? He's describing his whiteboard. I'm describing the Earth as a whole. When I say it's flat, I'm describing it. I'm not making a geometric claim. I'm not denying geometry. I'm not denying elevation changes. I'm just saying, as a whole, there's no better description than flat. Because we don't have, this is the main point, we don't have any consistent curvature. If we did, then the best description would be round as a description. But it's still not a geometric claim. Round and flat are not geometric claims, they're descriptions.
How do you have elevation if you don't have a horizontal, man? You have to have I'm still talking. I'm still talking. You have to have a location you call horizontal. Dude,
You just let Bookfin get his
You
point.
have
You could say that the Earth's not a sphere as well,
Stop.
couldn't you?
Can you hear
I mean,
Bookfin?
that's a valid
Oh,
statement.
right. They've detected a bit of audio chaos, so pile on the pile. Go ahead, Bookfin.
You can't have any elevation if you don't have a horizontal location. So your horizontal plane, from there, you can have either elevation or declination. Without that, without an established horizontal, there is no elevation, no rise.
But that's the
whatsoever.
measured vertical change, isn't it? Measured.
Without the established horizontal plane, you can't have elevation.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. But the point I'm making is you're stepping outside of the point I'm making. The point I'm making is, for me to describe the Earth as flat is correct. And I'm not making a geometric claim, so there's no point in...
No, but it's Nathan that is.
He says it's measured. Can you hear me talking? Do you need to blame someone else? Because Brian's got a challenge for you. I'm not Brian. Can you hear Brian?
Well, Brian seems upset about a claim somebody else...
Oh, it's roll on the ad homs. Brian seems upset. No, Brian's claiming that it's not a geometric claim to describe it as flat. He's doing that, not me. Address Brian. Don't tell him he's getting upset. Address his argument, you coward.
You're raising your voice.
Brian, and I'm not attacking you. I'm attacking Elder Bear, saying that. How do you know? Hold on. How I'm attacking him because he's saying, how do you know it's flat? It's because you have to have a horizontal plane to be able to describe elevation.
You're going into geometry there. You're going into geometry there. So you can't claim it's flat then. Because there is elevation changes. If you want to go into geometry, then we're talking about elevation.
From where?
Then you're not making it flat. Yeah, I'm talking about a description of the Earth as a whole. That's a sidebar. What you're going into there is, I don't mean it in the wrong way. I don't mean you're doing it on purpose, but it's actually a red herring.
From where, though? Where is that elevation?
Bookfin, we heard you the first time, and we agree. But you're not picking up what Brian's putting down. He has taken a different tangent to take Bev on. Let him.
When Bev, I have to write. Right. When Nathan said hashtag measured flat, right? I already told Nathan, right? I told Nathan ages ago that doesn't stick well with me, right? But Nathan didn't mind because it's like it's easy. It rolls off the tongue. I'm not going to defend. I leave Nathan. Like Nathan understands that, right? So when you say when you say it's measured flat, right? It is in celestial navigation. They do measure it flat in celestial navigation. In surveying, right, because they're measuring a purely a horizontal plane. So yeah, it's going to be a flat measurement, right? Because horizontal is flat. But when you're dealing with surveying, you're not, because you're dealing with elevation changes. You're not dealing with elevation changes in celestial navigation. So Dave has a point when he says hashtag measured flat is not a correct statement. If you're dealing with surveying, but if you're talking about celestial navigation, that Nathan is mostly, or aerospace, right? Then you're treating the Earth as a horizontal plane, and your measurements are purely like straight horizontals. And
where do you start from that elevation? From the surveying point. Hold on.
I understand that, but but as soon as you go into that, I understand that. But the point is, when you're dealing with the land, you're dealing with elevation changes.
Yes.
From where? Correct, 100%.
100%, right? But from where?
That's what I meant, Brian, when I said, do you?
No. I don't want to hear you understand. I don't want to hear.
I understand.
Okay, all right. You pointed out. All right, you're right. From main sea level, right? Okay.
I understand surveying.
So it's measured flat.
That's why I said Brian's, close to it.
No.
He knows.
He knows. Yes.
Okay.
It starts from sea level.
Please, please let Brian lead.
When you talk about the Earth as a whole, you haven't seen the whole, have you?
But there's not about whether I've seen it. The point is that there's no better way to describe it. There's no better way to describe the Earth as a flat than flat. If I say the Earth is flat, that's the best description. There is no better description.
That's how it came in.
Hang on, but unless you like, how is there a better description than flat?
You can use flat if that suits you. You know.
But it's not
But I
what it
don't
suits me.
walk.
It's what's the best description. That's my question.
Well, not if you
Is
live
there
in
a
the
better description
mountains.
than flat?
If you live in the mountains, it's not.
Hold on. Brian, one second. Just 1 second, Brian.
Okay.
Sorry, Brian's describing...
You can use flat if you want
He's
to.
detected that there's going to be a clarification coming, of course, so rumpusing ensues.
No,
Right.
the clarification...
I'll try that again, coward. Hopefully without you deciding that you're going to take charge. No, Brian and you are having a discussion. You've taken it from the overall description of Earth, overall, for the map territory, to a single point on a mountain. So that's unfair. I'm pointing that out regardless of your rumpusing.
Yeah, I'm talking about the description of the whole Earth, Erdogan. I'm describing
You can
the
have
whole
that
Earth.
description if you want. It doesn't matter to me.
It
doesn't matter. It doesn't affect
my question.
Okay, well then we can take that conclusion for anybody who's listening to Edabear. He doesn't care. He's okay to concede that the overall description of Earth as flat is fine for you. In other words, doesn't meet any objections. You can say that. Nothing to object to if Brian says that. But he doesn't really care. So then you have to question, what's he here for? If he doesn't care, but he's objecting flat out to Brian's perfectly acceptable description of the overall Earth being flat, why is he even here?
It doesn't matter to me personally what Brian describes it as. That's not the point.
Yeah, it's absolutely the point. The point is it's perfectly acceptable to describe Earth as flat because it is.
Yeah, there's no better description. If there's a better description of the Earth, better basic description of the Earth than flat, then I would be using it. The same way as if there was a better description of my kitchen table than flat, I would be using it. But there isn't. That's the point. So if I say the Earth is flat, there's no point in telling me about elevation changes because I'm not making a geometric claim. I'm just describing what we experience.
And with that, I'm going to say if you are watching this on either Nathan Oakley 1980 or Nathan Oakley Premium Streams, then stay tuned as there will be an after show to follow. Unfortunately, though, if you are watching this live, this is where we bid you farewell. So another massive thank you to all of you who smashed the super chat, liked, commented, shared, subscribed, joined as a member, and all that good stuff. Of course, a massive thank you to today's Discord and Jeepers panels for making today's live show possible once again. Stay tuned if you're watching on an after show. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I will see you all in the next video.
What a lovely day!